Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer. I'm one of your many hosts, Marquino, or my world eater. Name is Mark, Destroyer of Worlds. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy, but when you're dealing with berserkers, it's not about creativity. It's about bloodlust. We're doing a World Eaters episode today. So who do we got on the roster? Who do I enjoy that enjoys World Eaters? Toasty, yo, welcome back.
I would love being back, man. This is my bread and butter. Anytime World Eaters need to be brought up, you can just sneak me in here.
Yeah, man. And it's nice, always nice when somebody's actually read a book beyond I read all the codexes and all that kind of information, but it's nice when people do the opposite side and read more of the narrative as opposed to like the articles or whatever. So good to have you. And we also got our boy Gerald to hit on. Welcome. Both like physically and sexually, we will hit on this episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. I figured I did not have the right temperament for a World Eaters episode, but Mark messaged me earlier this week begging me to come back on because Toasty got a little too rowdy and berserkery, so he needed me for backup.
Yeah, I'm like, you and Toasty know each other. You guys can keep each other in lines. You can. It's like Gerald's psychic power of like pacifying will work.
Somebody has to keep me in check.
I'm his emotional.
Mark's like, I don't feel like yelling at this guy. Gerald will do it.
To do it. Cool. And we also will have Fuzz joining us later. He's just running a little late, so we will get 4, which is a good number for a Khârn episode. 4 times 2 is 8. So Khârn will bless us this episode when Fuzz gets here. But yeah, let's do some quick housekeeping and dive in. Man, I've just been fucking hyped all like the last couple weeks about talking about World Eaters. So let's do some quick housekeeping. Come join the Discord. You can access it by getting the links in the description of the podcast below, or you can send me a message on Facebook, and there's all types of fun stuff to do in there. So come check it out. There's still Sunday night movie nights, I think, that might be happening. I see popping channels happening up there, so go check that out. Pretty fun.
Yes, Skeleton's been running that movement, I think, pretty strong. Like I'm always seeing some kind of activity there at that time. So keep it going.
Good stuff.
But I mean, if you like what you see, you can also join the Patreon and join the Imperial Tithe, support the show and all that good stuff. Ad-free versions are available on Spotify for $2.50 per month, and then you get access to the video version for $5 a month. That's Lupercal. Why?
Yeah, you get.
Why are you this way?
And say all types of things to make Gerald blush. We're gonna see if we can turn Gerald red this episode with
That's not a hard thing. That's not a hard thing to do. Don't worry.
We're not aiming high today.
It's his sex appeal that keeps people in check. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can't think about anything else if you're thinking about Gerald's cock. That's the way it goes.
I know I'm gonna be distracted this whole time.
Okay, I have a maiden now. So you didn't lie to
I've been married
everybody
this whole time.
It's podcast official.
Stopped
I love
anything.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But with that, you can join the live stream thanks to Patreon. That gets you in here to sneak in with us. There's a live chat room that Lupercal is making beautiful use of so far. And if you're lucky, you can be a call-in guest at the end of an episode.
Yeah, definitely message me during the show if you feel like you want to call in. I do drop links, and then sometimes people pop in and sometimes I don't. I know I'm not as consistent as I need to be with that, but if you really have something to say, message me and we'll get you in the show at the end. So
I mean, sometimes you run longer than you think, right? And then you ain't got time for these people.
Yeah, exactly. I don't got time for these Patreon members. Just give me your dollars and fuck off. Yeah,
that's right.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Cool. So this episode, we're going to do a quick recap. Then we're going to dive into the history, starting with the Battle of Skalathrax. We did talk about it on the last episode, but it was so minor, and we're going to get a little deeper into it this time. And then we're going to do the Dominion of Fire and the First War for Armageddon, as well as the Noctis Eterna, which is like the Great Rift and Era Indomitus. And then I think we're even going to talk about the Fourth War for Armageddon. Apparently, Angron comes back in that, and the World Eaters do some shit there. So the first and the fourth. Then we'll do their appearance, their organization, homeworlds, if they have any, recruitment, gene seed combat doctrine, beliefs, blood, skulls, gore. Pretty simple. Armory. Yeah, pretty standard episode. I've been writing the notes. It's like, how many different ways can you write bloodshed, gore? What do these guys like to do? Kill, maim, murder. What are their belief systems? Violence.
There's hugs in there somewhere. I promise.
Somehow the easiest legion to understand conceptually, especially in
Yeah.
40k.
How dare you?
Yeah, the easiest one, but
I said
also,
what I
man, they
said.
got one of the deepest Primarchs for sure.
Good man. Good man.
Yeah. There's somebody posting in the Discord some shit talking about how the Emperor was right and Angron was wrong, and I quickly booted his ass from my Discord. We don't allow that kind
Damn
of Angron
straight.
slander.
That's how we do it here.
That's how we do it. He's lucky I didn't send a hit squad after him for that, but
I'm literally on my way. This is a green screen in the background. I'm literally running.
Chain axe in hand. All right, cool. Well, give us a little recap in case people haven't listened to the last 3 episodes, but you definitely should go back and listen to them.
Yeah, definitely. Why? If you haven't, what's wrong with you? Like, why? Why are you the way that you are?
Yeah. Do you watch Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, then Two Towers, and The Fellowship? Like, come on, let's not do that. Let's go listen in order.
It was a mistake.
No,
I thought he had to come back first before there was a Fellowship.
my first interaction was the Return of the King. No. It was that. No, it was not actually the Return of the King. But anyways, well, let's just charge right into this because as a good world eater would do. Angron was unleashed upon the Great Crusade as a living weapon rather than a conquering lord. His role defined by annihilation rather than compliance. Where other Primarchs built empires, Angron broke worlds, driving the 12th Legion into the bloodiest front lines of the Imperium's expansion. In the Horus Heresy, the same unrelenting fury became both his strength and his doom, as Angron's loyalty to his brothers and hatred of tyranny bound him to Horus, even as the butcher's nails consumed what remained of his reason. The World Eaters followed their Primarch without hesitation, reshaping themselves in his image through ritual mutilation and shared suffering, abandoning strategy, restraint, and legacy for the purity of close-quarter slaughter. Once known as the Warhounds, they became a legion defined by discipline enforced through pain, brotherhood forged in violence, and a tragic devotion to their own, a force that could know kill until nothing remained but blood and ruin.
One thing that always kind of stuck with me in the World Eaters, they are berserkers. That's what they're known for, just like rabid berserkers. But also, like, during the 30K, and I'm sure it bleeds into 40K, they had like deep discipline and like martial honor as well. The discipline really stands out because, like, in 40K, yeah, they kind of basically are not like that. But it's a good time.
There's a little bit.
It's a little bit. Yeah, like the discipline of like wake up every day, bright and early, and go take some skulls. Like there is a discipline to that.
Sometimes you don't have to be fully awake before it starts happening. Okay. But you got Khârn shown there, and Khârn was the epitome of what the World Eaters were. The Aquaria of the Angron was the top. He was the guy that everybody went to, and the guy that everybody kind of sought to be as good as.
Yeah. He not only was a great warrior, but also like a thinker as well to some degree.
Yeah, he got Angron straight 3 times.
Took a little bit of a whooping in the between that, but
it's just on the first one. Just the first time. The second time he just kind of scolded him and he came back. It's a good time.
Yeah. So one thing I did forget to mention in the 30K episodes or the Angron stuff, they were just running long, was the World Eaters and their Librarius. So we're going to jump back into like Great Crusade real quick and add this little addendum and Horus Heresy stuff. So yeah, just so we kind of get a fuller picture.
So with the World Eaters Librarius, before becoming the World Eaters, the Warhounds Legion maintained a traditional Librarius, but this changed utterly after the rediscovery of the Primarch Angron. Angron despised psychers, almost said pikers, viewing them as an unnatural and weak, a hatred intensified by the agony their presence caused his butcher's nails. Even before the Council of Nicaea outlawed the Librarius across the legions, the 12th Legion had already marginalized its psychic brethren. When the butcher's nails were replicated and implanted throughout the Legion, they proved fundamentally incompatible with psychic minds, stripping control, inducing madness, and turning the librarians into lethal liabilities to themselves and to those around them, which is hilarious because there's multiple attempts at this. And at one point, a dude blew a hole in the side of the Conqueror, I believe.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because he came to with the butcher's nails and just basically head popped.
Yeah,
So,
and then there's another action where one of them like destroyed, I forget if it was 2 or 3 full squads, but that could be a lot of guys, like, because in Great Crusade era, that's 20-man squad. So he could have destroyed like 40 to 60 guys in this like psychic butchered nails rage.
Yeah, the for whatever reason, the butcher's nails and psychers didn't get along very well. As more librarians received the nails, they began to die in horrific and uncontrollable ways, burning from within, losing mastery of their powers, or inflicting lethal neurological agony upon nearby brothers. Attempts to remove the nails were fatal, and Angron ultimately offered his psychic sons only death or doomed surgery. The few librarians who avoided implantation survived in isolation, remnants of the old warhounds within a legion that no longer had a place for them. Their numbers dwindled steadily, their gene seed left unclaimed, their studies abandoned, and their existence tolerated only because they caused less pain at a distance. Yeah, like I said, I was trying to look it up before this. There was a little group of them, and they were called, I want to say the council or something. And they were the ones who would keep Angron in check. They would appear as this like giant figure to keep him in check in his mind. And his butcher's nails would show up as a giant spider in their minds.
I don't like that. Okay, great.
No.
Yeah, but they were able to kind of pacify him. I forget who asked me this, but who was commenting like, man, how did New Syria kind of keep Angron in check? And like, maybe it was some Dark Age technology. Maybe the New Syrians had some psychic abilities too to kind of keep Angron in check. But it just seems like he's deeply affected by psychic powers more so than anyone else.
I think with Nuceria and him, it was like tranquilizers, if I remember correctly. They kind of trained him because his first thing with a psyker, they were called witches on Nuceria, and it didn't go well for the witch.
Yeah.
By the opening of the Horus Heresy, only 19 librarians remained, bound together in a final coterie calling themselves Warhounds rather than the World Eaters. During Angron's ascension on Nuceria, they united their minds in a last defiant act, attempting to tear his soul free from the demonhood, even as Lorgar completed the ritual. They failed, and the newly ascended demon Primarchs slaughtered them all, erasing the final trace of the Legion's psychic past. With their deaths, the World Eater's Librarius was extinguished forever, leaving only blood, fury, and a legion fully claimed by Khârn. So this was a crazy thing because they were literally fighting Lorgar mentally while Lork, the Dreadnought, was fighting him physically to try and stop him from changing Angron into what he became.
Yeah.
And then Angron came out and basically told the rest of the sons, like, you got to kill them. They tried to kill my brother. And Lork didn't last much longer after that.
Yeah, that was the end of librarians. And then you jump forward to 40k times, and we know how Khârn feels about psychic powers. You know, they have cool stuff like brass collars that they put on people that negate psychic powers. They got all types of cool stuff like that. So
yeah, I was gonna say those guys would have been doomed from the get-go, especially after the Legion fell to Khârn, because as Lupercal points out, Angron no like magic make head hurt, psyker go away.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my next tattoo. I'm gonna get a brass collar around my
just
neck.
on the forehead, or where are we putting this?
I'm going neck.
Neck,
Cool
yes,
ass neck tattoo.
Yeah, fuck yeah, okay.
I'll just get an actual brass collar and have my wife walk me. Whatever.
Whatever you gotta do, man. Whatever you gotta do. Mildly upsetting frog says, I think in 40k it's more self-dictated discipline like Khârn's rules for himself rather than the tactical battlefield discipline like in 30k pre-heresy nails. Yeah, that's kind of a good take. It's about like, yeah, how do you do things for yourself? Like Khârn is constantly throwing competitions with himself to get more skulls and all that kind of stuff. Like he plays by his own rules now, but he does have rules.
Yeah, Khârn in 40k is a whole weird thing because I can't remember the book, but it's an Alpha Legion book, and Khârn's part of it. But he's like Michael Myers in the background. They show up on this world to do something, and they're like, "We're going to get this thing for the Emperor's children who hired us." and the whole time they're like sneaking around, and then Khârn's like busting through walls, tearing, like he lands in the water, tears through the bottom of this place so that all this water's flooding, and then he's running through it, and they're trying to avoid him while the amount of slaughter he's causing is literally summoning bloodletters and shit.
If my Google search is correct, the book in question is Shroud of Night.
My man, yes, that is exactly it. Gerald's my memory.
I remember things for him when the nails start biting him.
All right, so let's start with their history after the heresy. So in the aftermath of Terra, the traitors' host was broken, and the World Eaters carved a bloody path toward the Eye of Terra alongside other fallen legions. In the chaos of withdrawal, a great portion of the legion was cut off from Angron, many falling under the command of their former devourer's officer, Gogher. Isolated, their fleets crippled and their holds empty of resupplies, the strain proved fatal to what restraint remained. The Butcher's Nails claimed more warriors entirely. Some were chained and confined like beasts, held and reserved to be loosed upon their foe, while others were executed outright or entombed within dreadnought shells. With Khârn believed slain or grievously wounded, the legion was left leaderless, and the bonds of brotherhood began to fracture as captains and warlords contested dominance through violence. These tensions erupted fully during the Legion Wars at Skalathrax, where the World Eaters clashed with the far larger hosts of the Emperor's children, and vast vestiges of unity were burned away in the fire and blood. Yeah, fuck, man. If they ever come out with like a scouring book series or whatever, I don't want to say
they
like
just started it.
Oh, really?
They have one book out. Yeah,
the first book just came out. It's Rogodorn and Gilliman.
Give me 10 minutes. I'm gonna quickly go rub one out, and then we'll pick back up here.
But there is a Skalathrax book. I got the book on Audible.
Nice. Yeah, like it's such a cool time period where like you get the loyalists now kind of on the offensive, but like also the traitors now are really traitors. You get demons running around. Like the lines have clearly been drawn at this point, and are now kind of being redrawn a little bit, but yeah, very cool slot.
And reading about the Legion Wars is actually pretty interesting, especially when they talk about it in Talon of Horus and like all these different members from different traitor legions coming together to help found the Black Legion with like whatever is left of the Sons of Horus. Yeah. And they talk, it's pretty interesting stuff to read about from the chaos perspective too, because it's just like a free for all essentially after they lose the Horus heresy.
Yeah. And that's the end of the Legion Wars, basically, is the Talon of Horus, because it's Emperor's children, for whatever reason, is trying to wipe out the Sons of Horus, because they're like, you guys ran first. Horus died and you guys left. But, the Emperor's children were out doing all kinds of stupid shit during the Siege of Terra. Khârn, Eater of Worlds is the book where Khârn is basically dead for the first 5 chapters or 6 chapters. And then when he comes back, it's like him, John Wick and everything, and actually leading this warband. And then it ends with Skalathrax.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, hey, that's a pretty good segue. So let's talk about the Battle of Skalathrax here. The World Eaters sank further into sanctioned slaughter, carving the red path through an Imperium already dying before casting themselves into the howling madness of the Eye of Terror. Their doomed search for a home world would become upon the Legion's soul. Khârn, once equerry to the Primarch Angron as an exemplar of Legion discipline, would earn the hatred of his own brothers through his actions upon the demon world of Skalathrax. There, the World Eaters clashed with the Emperor's children in a battle of pride and savagery amid the corpse-cold wastes of that cursed world. After a full day of merciless combat, Skalathrax's night fell, bringing a cold so absolute it punished even Astartes' flesh and iron will alike. Recognizing the attrition of the elements, both legions agreed to a brief ceasefire and withdrew to shelter. The night itself became a weapon, its depths lethal enough to claim even Chaos Space Marines within moments. Khârn would not endure delay. To him, withdrawal was betrayal, and rage at the sight of his brother seeking he took He took up a flamer and reduced him to ash. And with Gorechild, he butchered any who stood against him, enforcing loyalty through fire and blood. This is the cartoonish 40K ridiculousness that makes me chuckle.
Ah, yes, the little boys in us so love it, for sure.
Amid the breakdown of order, Khârn was set upon by 3 unidentified attackers. He did not hesitate. The berserker hurled himself forward as doctrine and instinct demanded. A chance bolter round struck his breastplate, spoiling the leap and forcing him to kill the hidden warrior with a brutal, improvised backhand sweep of his chain axe. He turned at once, split the bolter of the third assailant in 2, and smashed the warrior senseless against the ground. Gorechild left his hand in a practice throw to the left. The chain axe tore through the throat of the final Astartes, blood arcing in the frozen air. Looming over the fallen soldiers as he clawed for his weapon, Khârn recognized the face beneath the helm. Centurion Gruner, the warrior who had trained him in the first days of the 12th Legion. Trapped amid the bodies of dead brothers, Gruner spoke of madness and of oaths broken, condemning Khârn for raising his hand against the legion he had once served without question. Khârn did not answer. He killed Gruner where he stood, champion of the 12th Legion. Khârn had stood upon the walls of the Imperial Palace in the final hours of the World Eater's campaign upon Terra, when loyalty and obedience were still measured in bloodshed alone. He was the last carried from the ruins after Horus's defeat, his body shattered after carving a path through the Lion's Gate, where he slew a million servants of the false emperor in unbroken advance.
Ooh, goddamn! Is that a real number? Do we think Khârn actually killed 1 million people during this battle?
I just listened to Adeptus Ridiculous talk about the Siege of Terra series in like Cliff's Notes version, and if it's as epic as it sounds, yeah, those numbers sound pretty spot on.
Yeah, that's so crazy. 1 million is a low ball. Yeah, there's like 1 trillion people on Terra at this point, so there's definitely people there for all of them to be killing stuff. But yeah, Khârn's one of these interesting characters where he's the best, basically. Like, he's one of the best fighters in the entire galaxy, yet every now and again they use him as a punching bag. Like with Gavriel Loken punching him in the training ring and taking them down a notch. And then the other example is during Istvan 3, Khârn is like sieging, I forget who, like Solomon Tarek and a couple other guys. But then he gets run over by a tank and kind of stopped. So he didn't get to see like his effect. It's like he wasn't defeated in combat. There's always these extraneous circumstances that kind of take him somewhere else.
Toasty, you're muted.
My bad. So Khârn didn't get punched in the face by Loken. That was Lucius.
Oh, Lucius. Yes, you're right. Oh, yeah.
Khârn in the fighting pits didn't care. So he didn't participate. Like, him and Argyle just took L's together in the fighting pits. He did fight, not Loken. No, it was Loken. Loken stuck him onto the front of a rhino.
Yeah, so that's what happened. He fought Loken. No, during Istvan 3. When they're like cleansing the legions. That's when he kind of gets stuck on a battle tank by Loken.
Is that when he got? Was this Istvan 3? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like a tank crashes through the wall and then just like fucking pins him and stuff. So
Khârn has fought many a big names.
Yeah. But like I said, like he kind of becomes a punching bag where like you can't kill him. You're never killing this guy, but like you might defeat him or some circumstance might just take the battle in a different direction. Maybe Khârn just like leaves the battle. He's like, fuck it, I'm done taking skulls over here, and he just leaves. But
he sounds like the chaos version of the Worf effect.
What?
Angron
as well. And the World Eaters in whole, like they're those guys who like they're crazy and they fight everybody and they can kill anybody. And then it's like, oh yeah, we'll put him against this big name guy, and he'll beat that guy. But like mildly upset frog said, Khârn did kill Saint Celestine. He also killed another saint, I believe, during the Siege of Terra, and everybody was really upset because it happens in like the blink of an eye. He's just literally running through like a hall.
It It was a sister of silence. Like she was like the head.
Okay.
Yeah, it was what the head sister of silence, and it was just like offhanded mention, so it wasn't even given any kind of fanfare.
He was just running down a hall, and she was like, "I'm going to fight this dude." And next thing she knows, she was beheaded.
Yeah. Look at that bicep. Like, yeah, he's flexing and running at people, and you ain't got a chance.
That's the only reason I lift weights.
Just to be more like Khârn.
Just to be him.
Yeah.
Oh man. You'd think the World Eaters would actually be a good rival to the Space Wolves, given that they're also like sort of berserkery as opposed instead of the Thousand Sun rivalry that we
could get into like philosophical debates about what kind of axe is best. Is it, double-sided axe? Is it chain axe? They'll fight over it for sure.
Look, after listening to the Burning of Prospero that I listened to the entire book today, the Space Wolves are more tactical than people give them credit for. We'll say that. They use a lot of like, we're going to do this, like we will gather all this information. We might look like we're crazy when we're fighting them, but it's because we know we're going to win now.
Yeah. Mildly upset Frog says the one bummer is constantly getting used as a lazy writing punching bag to make other characters seem cooler. Yeah, I'm glad other people picked that up too, because I feel like that's not who he is, man. That's, like you said, lazy writing, and we could just toss all that shit to the side and say, fate be damned.
Mm-hmm.
But with Khârn being amazing, we'll continue the Battle of Skalathrax that he started. No mortal devotee of the blood god would ever equal the tally. The contest Khârn had declared to claim the most skulls in the name of the 12th Legion's patron had ended. He remained its undisputed victor, and that will never change. Khârn held the defeat at Terra was born not of fate, but of weakness. Weakness in the other traitor legions. Damn straight. And weakness within his own brothers of the World Eaters. Damn straight. In his eyes, hesitation and mercy had doomed them long before the walls fell. Consumed by contempt for such failings, the chosen of Khârn butchered Emperor's children and World Eaters alike, enforcing his creed through steel and flame. For this, his brothers named him the Betrayer, though his hand was guided by loyalty to what the Legion had once been. Skalathrax marked the breaking point. There, the 12th Legion's unity was shattered, reduced to isolated warbands of coordinate berserkers who would scour the eye of terror in the wider galaxy for the next 10 millennia. Funny fact here, the first people to call him Betrayer was a serpentine demon of Slanesh.
Oh, that sounds like slander.
They came out right before the Battle of Skalathrax. It's like, oh, Betrayer. And I kept calling him Betrayer. And he was like, we're going to war.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, now that you mention it. The blood god was appeased by the slaughter, even as Angron's legions ceased to exist as a single disciplined host. Though the demon Primarch would at times draw the scattered world eaters together into echoes of the old legion's strength, they were condemned to eternal war, bound only by shared violence and memory, which is, I'll talk about that if we don't talk about the Red Angel book, I'm going to talk about it, damn it. Individual squads and warbands attached themselves to greater forces for no purpose beyond battle, bloodshed, and the taking of skulls. To this day, many world eaters curse Khârn for what he wrought, while others, truer to the Eightfold Path, regard him with great respect. Seen in his actions an unbroken loyalty, blood, war, and the Legion's truest self, which, he constantly has followers. He has his own warband that I don't think he commands at all. It's just like, oh, Khârn's going here. Let's go, guys.
Follow him, man. That's the best kind of leader. He doesn't have to say anything. He leads by example. He's so charismatic. People just want to follow him. Good stuff.
That's what we all strive to be, really. Come on.
Yeah. So I was mentioned with the discipline, how there's they're highly disciplined in 30k, then 40k that gets broken down. Like in 30k, they're like super loyal to each other. to the point where they'll all be like, okay, let's all get butcher's nails together just so we're more like each other and like dad. Like they're really loyal, but this is where it all breaks down and just shatters into the mindless rage. Khârn has groupies. Yeah, there's 3 groupies here right now, and actually Fuzz the Betrayer just showed up, so we got 4 Khârn groupies here now.
Hell yeah!
Hey Fuzz, welcome.
How's it going, everybody?
Very good. I want to say I'm mad that you're late, but like only because it's topical. I don't really care.
Kind of want to take your skull because you showed up an hour late.
Yeah, you owe us a skull, Buzz.
I'm trying to think if I have any skulls left in my house. I had some animal skulls lying around. I might still have a deer skull in the garage I can send you.
Okay, perfect. I'll take it. I'll mount it to the front of my boat.
Or next time I trap a mouse that's trying to hide in my house for the winter time, I'll kill it and send you its skull.
Khârn cares not from where the blood flows.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or the skulls come from.
Yeah. Do you think, like, I know that's like that's a fun saying. Let's go down this thought. Like, the Chaos Gods do value different souls differently. Like, obviously, Elder souls are better than Tau souls. So, does Khârn in any way think like sentient skulls, like, actually sentient species, are better than animal skulls, or does he really just not care at all?
So the way I've always interpreted it is, I see Toasty with the hands ready to go.
He is chomping at the bit.
So I've always seen it as, with all the Chaos Gods, sort of intention powers how much they get from it. So if you kill with that like bloodlust and enjoyment of killing and battle, it's going to go to Khârn the most, and then maybe like a little bit of like Slaanesh for the like excess of it. And maybe if you made a plan of like when you're going to jump this person, Tzeentch gets a little bit for that kind of like scheming and plotting, like premeditation of the murder.
Yeah.
And so there's kind of like a hierarchy at like, I guess, like the best. Alternatively, just like whatever god the intention is most towards gets all the goods.
Yeah.
So
it's a good pile of skulls.
The way
Rookie
it's
numbers
seen in that Shroud of the Night book, Khârn literally sends Khârn on missions. Like, he gives him visions of who he needs to go take skulls up, and that's who he goes after. So I think there are high priority targets. I think those people usually fall within the Imperium's hierarchy. So, I mean, if you kill a mouse in your house, that Khârn might be like, hell yeah, blood. But if you kill Saint Celestine, Khârn's like, this one's going in a special place.
This is my special skull pile, not the other skull.
That
pile.
one's part of the throne. That other the
Right.
mouse one's over there across the River of Blood. That's to the southwest.
So Toasty, do you think that the more chaos that the death causes, the like better it is for Khârn? So like you're saying, if I kill a mouse, Khârn's like, okay, buddy, that's like a good baby step. But if I kill a planetary governor and that throws that planet into chaos, that like is going to make Khârn a lot happier and maybe give him more power.
I think to a certain extent, but I think he does like for you to kill the strongest people you can kill. So
Okay, yeah, definitely.
If it's somebody who's like it's a Black Templar champion, like as much as I hate the Black Templars, those are some of your better melee fighters. Them and like any Space Wolf kind of person. Any of those champions who are like out and about in a battle, and Khârn, like Khârn sends any other number of people out. Like if they can collect that skull, you're sitting a lot prettier than the guys who are like, I killed 325 guardsmen today.
Right.
Like, your armor and your genetic build is just built to do something that easy, buddy.
Yeah. So my knowledge of like Khârn, like through and like the World Eater stuff through books is very, very limited. Only come in like one time for me. Like they show up in one of the Caiaphas Cain books.
Which book?
I will have to.
I'll add this to my list.
I think it's book 4. If you've seen my links to my Google Drive, I have all the Cain audiobooks there.
Okay. I'll put Caiaphas Cain on there, I guess.
It's only a little bit, but you're not gonna like this because he goes up against a World Eater, Space Marine, and
that's one shot. Las pistol.
No, he does last pistol. He twice is able to parry the chain axe with his chain sword.
I've read Red Angel and the Grey Knights fight Angron, and don't get me started. But yeah, like I've accepted that some things that happen in 40K are just not going to be to my liking.
Well, to be fair, he doesn't solo the World Eater. He basically is able to parry him twice so that his aide can nuke him from the back with a melt-a-gun.
Yeah, valid.
So,
I'm just looking at artwork right now. We got this badass.
There's a mini of him.
Terminate. Yeah, with the dual chain fist hands, he kind of gives me this vibe.
That's Ascor, I believe.
Similar vibe. Yeah.
I'm glad that came up again. I'm so
same facial expression and everything.
That's where he got it from. That's where Daniel Radcliffe got it from. Daniel Radcliffe is British, isn't he? Right? I'm blaming it on that.
Yes,
those chain fist hands, man.
And this is why it's
awkward
worth it
to pick up things. You're like trying to pick up fucking, I don't know what skulls, I guess, and they just grind in your fucking hands.
Right.
You still got. He's got gauntlets under there. Look up Ascor. Azkhor, I believe.
Say this is why it's worth it to pay to watch the live stream so you can see the weird shit we're looking at.
Ascor.
Oh shit! I told you the 8-pound from the thing. Nope, I was wrong.
Don't worry.
That guy right there, though. That's that Terminator right there.
Yeah.
If you go,
I want him. I love him.
Yeah, that one.
That's Azrak.
Azrak. Okay, sorry. Ascor is the Tacticus 8-pound. Yeah, so I play that as well. Sorry,
bitch.
I have problems.
All right, so let's jump to the Dominion of Fire, the next kind of piece of their history. They've been in 1,000 battles, but I kind of chose like battles that were important are the ones that battles that Angron are in. Everything else is just a battle and a new skull. But yeah, so there's a couple times where it's like super important just because Angron's there, and then the World Eaters kind of rally around them. So the Dominion of Fire in the later millennium, Angron led 50,000 World Eaters of the 12th Legion and allied hosts of the War Master's cause in a relentless march through Imperial space, waging war without pause for more than 2 standard centuries. Fuck. Sector by sector fell before the Red Angels advanced until more than 70 were taken and reduced to ruin by blade, chain, and fire. To answer this incursion, the Imperium assembled a crusade of rare scale. 4 Space Marine chapters, 2 Titan legions, and over 30 Astra Militarum regiments were committed to reclaim what had been lost by Angron's uncompromising assault. In time, the Imperium recovered a greater portion of the shattered domains, reclaiming nearly 90% of the territory seized by the 12th Legion's advance. In Imperial record and remembrance, the long, costly campaign would be named the Dominion of Fire. So this happens pretty early on, I believe, in like this is like M32 or something like that. I forget the exact date, but it happens pretty early on that Angron comes back and just goes on a fucking rampage. 50,000 World Eaters. That's madness, man. Like we're talking about Space Marine chapters only having 1,000 guys. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. And then you have 4 chapters to go, try to clean up that mess. Obviously with like the Titan legions and stuff. Yeah. But that's, because you got to imagine also like if it's the World Eaters, there's probably also going to be like cultists and coordinate like guardsmen, demons. So even with like 4,000 Marines, 2 Titan Legions, and the Astra Militarum regiments, it's not going to be an even fight, at least numbers wise. I don't feel like it's 200 years, also a wild, again, in 40K, like everything's a wild time frame, but I'm going to wage a 200-year war just cause.
Well, that's why you need the 30 guard regiments. Is just you got to throw somebody into the meat grinder so the 4,000 loyalist Marines can actually do something tactical.
Right.
The battle tactic on this one is like, okay, what about this? If we just leave them alone, maybe they'll fight each other. Maybe they'll destroy each other.
So
2 Titan Legions. That's a Titan Legions. It's now granted in the Heresy, the World Eaters have taken down a Titan Legion, but 2 Titan Legions.
I guess how many Titans make up a Titan Legion?
I don't even care. That's too much.
There's a World Eater episode, not a number.
These are the kind of numbers that GW needs to answer. Answer us, damn it.
How but okay. No, like the infighting comment was good. My counter to that in this specific instance is if they're being led by Angron, I think that would keep them in line. You think they still fight each other?
They still fight each other.
Okay.
The Red Angel of the book proves it.
Okay.
Angron literally shows up, steps on people, is fighting Slaaneshi demons off his own ship, and while that's all going on, warbands are shooting at each other.
Okay.
Look, the World Eaters at 40K point are the mindset of we got nails, we're friends is gone. It's like I gathered all these people, and then this other guy's like, "What? There's a Blood Angel on my team," and they're like, "Oh yeah."
So maybe we've covered this. Like, so then what keeps them, like in the books, what keeps them from just everybody just shooting each other until there's like 6 guys left?
A little bit of fear here and there.
Okay.
So the implantation of the butcher's nails, it as you age degrades. So you might one day be like, this is my brother. I'm fighting alongside this man, and then we're gonna go to this war. Blah, blah. A couple hundred years pass. You've been in the Eye of Terror. You fought several other battles. You might just black out one day and wake up, and your best friend's dead. Just
like nails dive.
I mean, fair enough. Yeah. When the nails rust inside your brain, that's what happens.
Yeah, that's how serfs die and all kinds of stuff. They have serfs in the book and everything. Like,
okay.
I like how Mildly Upset Frog posts, like, counterpoint, how much leading does Angron actually do?
He runs one way and everybody else goes that way because they're like, that's where fighting's happening.
So just everyone kills whatever is left in his wake that didn't die.
Because like because in my understandings and readings of like Angron during the 41st millennium is just like he's off doing his own thing. Like he's trying to collect more blood and skulls for Khârn and just do his own thing, and he just wants to die.
Yeah. he shows up randomly. I'll wait till we get through the first War of Armageddon, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the Red Angel. There's a lot that kind of breaks down a lot of stuff that happens and like might explain some of these other things that I would like to read about the Dominion of Fire and the first War of Armageddon though. So I'm going to be looking for those books.
Well, don't forget about the Arcs of Omen campaign too with him in it.
Yeah.
That and the Red Angel will have some big similarities as well.
So one might have come from the other, but while we're talking about First War of Armageddon, we'll just go ahead and get right into it. The First War of Armageddon. The conflict, later recorded as the First War for Armageddon, was born within the Eye of Terror. There, the forces sworn to chaos more often turned upon one another, their natures splintered and violent, yet on rare occasions they set aside rivalry to strike as one against enemy, the Imperium of Man. In this instance, that fleeting unity was sparked by the arrival of the Space Hulk, Devourer of Stars, near a demon world held by Angron and his World Eaters. For 10 millennia after the Horus Heresy, Angron had sought to impose some measure of order upon the scattered remnants of what had once been the 12th Legion, binding warbands together through blood, oath, and battle. The World Eaters' devotion to Khârn during the during the heresy had left them fractured, reduced to berserk brotherhoods, as prone to turn their blades upon one another as upon their foes. The appearance of the Devourer of Stars in orbit above Angron's realm offered the Red Angel the chance he had long awaited to forge a single purpose from ruin and rage. The Space Hulk was vast enough to bear entire hosts of Chaos warriors, yet it followed a broken, unpredictable path back into real space. Thus, the forces of Chaos were cast from the warp aboard the Devourer of Stars, emerging without warning into the Armageddon system in 444 M41. Angron's arrival at Armageddon was not shaped by desire or strategy, but by the violent tides of the warp itself. The Hulk was hurled toward that hive world in the Segmentum Solar by forces beyond world design, whether by the indifferent will of the Chaos Gods or by no guiding intent at all.
It's a funny little fact I just flying towards. That's something that's brought up in the Arc's Omen. Angron doesn't fly because he has wings. He flies merely because he has the will to fly.
I dig it. I love it.
Because he rips a hole in the Conqueror and flies out into space, and they're like, flying not merely because he has wings, but because he has the will to fly. And I'm like, hell yeah.
He's just juiced up on so much chaos. He believes he's like the angriest Peter Pan. He can fly because he believes he can.
He's like, I got these wings. They're flapping. I might as well be going somewhere.
Don't forget, it's not that he just yeets himself from the Conqueror, tearing a hole through it. He is going through other Imperial warships like a fucking bullet. Just like completely shredded himself in the process, but it's okay. He just regenerates right afterwards and gets back to doing it.
Oh, geez.
It's another reason why he's the best Primarch still. God, great times.
Good times, great oldies.
Speaking of oldies, the first War of Armageddon still. Meanwhile, upon Armageddon, a chain of unsettling events erupted into open rebellion as uprisings flared across half a dozen major hive cities, openly defying Imperial rule, just as a vast warp storms severed the world from Imperial communication and supply. The unrest, largely sparked by chaos cult cells, exploiting famine and deprivation caused by the storms, was swiftly crushed in the eastern reaches of the southern continent of Armageddon Secundus. Yet, among the far-flung hive cities of the western regions of Armageddon Prime's northern continent, resistance proved harder to isolate and destroy. What the planetary defense force is multiple, and the limited presence of the Armageddon Steel Legion appearing sufficient to contain the situation, the Imperium committed no further reinforcements once the warp storms abated. Armageddon lay far from the Eye of Terror in the depths of Segmentum Obscurus, and Imperial authorities perceived no greater threat than localized unrest and desperation. Sorry. Yeah, screw these guys. Engrossed in the suppressing rebellion, Imperial forces were taken unawares when the Devourer of Stars tore free from the warp within the Armageddon system. Aboard it came a vast host led by the demon Primarch, Angron, including millions of cultists known as the Children of Sanguinary Unholiness and the 12. What is this word? Khârn? The Khârn Praetoria? Khorne's most favored demons, honed by slaughter and devotion. World Eater's legionaries and the countless demonic thralls devoted to the blood god followed in their wake, spilling from the space Hulk and surging across Armageddon's surface in a tide of iron, blood, and inexorable war. I've never heard of the Khârn Praetoria, but hell yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that too. I'm going to just Google it.
That picture for the first War of Armageddon is the picture for the Red Angel book on Audible.
It's also the picture for the Red Angel book, like the hardcover edition.
Oh, nice. It's a sweet picture.
Yeah. The Khârn Praetoria are a warband of 12 bloodthirsters whose lives and deeds please the god Khorn. They took part in the First War of Armageddon and acted as Angron's personal bodyguards. Upon his return, In M42, the subsequent Battle of Malek, 8 bloodthirsters.
Let's say it's 8 in that one, yeah.
Yeah, once again appeared at Angron's side as honor guards. It's unknown if these are the Pretoria.
Because I remember it. I think we talked about the 8 in a different episode when we were doing it, when the going through like the greater demon host and stuff.
Yeah, like that's the fucking craziest army. If anyone actually ever collected 8 bloodthirsters in Angron, and that's all you run. So, yeah, get after it, Toasty.
Okay, so you can't have a 2,000 point army with 8 bloodthirsters and Angron. That's a shit. I did the math. It's closer to 3,000 points.
So you got 3,000 points.
That's why instead of a 2,000 point game, you play an apocalyptic event, or you play apocalyptic narrative. That way you can field a 10,000 point army.
I'm gonna run these 12 bloodthirsters, Angron. I'm gonna need some Chaos Knights.
I mean, just do the 8 in Angron. 9 guys, that's like a kill team. That's all. You're good.
I'm just going by the count of how many people, not the points, guys.
Right?
Come on, let's be real.
I don't think kill team has points, so it's fair.
You pop up in a space vault with your Death Angels, or what are the Dark Angels? Deathwing. Oh, you pop up with your Deathwing, and I'm going to show up with my Angron and 8 bloodthirsters. Let's go.
Oh, man. So, as the battle continues, the corrupting influence of chaos made itself known swiftly as nearly half of Armageddon's planetary defense force turned their weapons without warning, swearing themselves to the invaders. The loyalist remnants were driven back in short order, forced to abandon Armageddon Prime to the advancing enemy. Withdrawing south through the equatorial jungles, the survivors linked up with PDF formations stationed on Armageddon Secundus and prepared a final defensive line along the banks of the Styx and Carrion rivers, bracing for annihilation. Yet the expected assault never came. The warp storm had borne the devourers of the stars into the system was beginning to fade, severing the flow of the warp power required for Angron and its demonic host to endure within the materium. Bound by this reality, Angron halted his advance upon Armageddon Secundus and commanded his warriors to raise monuments to the blood god within the jungle's divided continents. For weeks, the Chaos host labored to... This is a funny concept. For weeks, the Chaos host labored to construct towering cairns of skulls taken from fallen defenders, consecrating them with the blood of captive slaves and their own warriors alike. Yeah, so we got the Iron Warriors and the Imperial Fist building great walls, and we got the World Eaters like, how do we build this pile of skulls? Well, we just start stacking skulls. No. It's not good enough.
The blood helps it stick together when it coagulates.
Yeah.
If it's not pretty, it's not good enough.
Yeah. The Imperial defenders gained precious time as Angron's forces worked their grim task. Many questions why the Red Angel paused with victory so close, but the truth was unyielding. Without the warp power drawn forth by sacrifice and slaughter, the demonic elements of his army would unravel, fading back into the warp, unable to remain in the realm of flesh and iron. Just going back to the beginning of that little reading, just keep this tucked in the back of your mind. The corrupting influence of chaos made itself known as swiftly as nearly half of Armageddon's planetary defense force turned their weapons without warning. And that will be important at the end of this because there's a bunch of stuff that happens with the Inquisition and all that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's a lot of people just immediately turn traitor.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You've been living with Greg for 4 years in the tent. You've had sharing each other pictures of your girlfriend and your kids, and then all of a sudden you wake up and Greg is foaming at the mouth over top of you, and you're like being strangled by him.
Right, Greg's had enough of your shit.
It's just how it happens sometimes.
Fuck.
There's
2 ways to wake up in the morning. 2 ways to wake up: in a blind rage or in a bloody mess. As a world leader.
Right. So, continuing the war for Armageddon, when his grim supply lines, quote unquote supply lines, were secured and his hosts finally emerged from the equatorial jungles dividing Armageddon Prime from Armageddon Secundus, Angron found the Imperial defenders prepared, bolstered now by the arrival of the Space Wolves. Unbeknownst to the warriors of chaos, a great company of space wolves Astartes, under their great wolf Logan Grimnar, had been tasked with the defense of this region of the Imperium. They moved with practiced speed, answering Armageddon's astropathic cries for aid the moment word of the chaos invasion reached them. Battle ignited across the entire front. Along the Khârn River in the east, Imperial lines held beneath unrelenting pressure. In the west, at the Styx, Angron himself took the fore. He shattered the defenders and drove the advance forward, Hive Infernus and Hive Hellsreach, leading by example as he always had. There, Logan Grimnar revealed the weapon he had held in reserve. From the moment he learned the enemy was demonic in nature, he had summoned the Grey Knights, the psychic chapter sworn to the Ordo Malleus, forged solely to confront such foes. Only they possessed the means to truly challenge a being of Angron's terrible power. The truth of chaos was among the Imperium's most closely guarded secrets, and even among the Adeptus Astartes, few knew the Grey Knights existed. They were the Imperium's final sanction, the most elite warriors ever created, unleashed only when demons walked openly upon the battlefield. So yeah, it's like Angron's just busting through the Imperium lines, heading towards those hives. Everyone's trailing in his wake. And then Logan Grimnar's like, my secret weapon, these guys.
These guys.
I have a huge issue with this.
I have a couple of issues with Logan Grimnar for sure.
Well,
did you guys know
Logan
that
Grimnar because he's OP as fuck?
he is OP?
But I hate
Logan
that.
Grimnar is the GOAT among Space Wolves. Come on,
You go ahead, Mark, because this might play into mine. You go ahead.
Did you know that he wields a very specific axe? Not just any axe, an axe made by Khârn. And he wields it. He took it from a Chaos Champion and he reforged it, but it's still an axe of Khârn that he wields. And I always found that kind of crazy that, he's wielding this against Khârn and Khârn demons in this battle, and shows, I don't know, the fucking OP-ness, the whatever of the Space Wolves, where they can wield demon weapons against one of the greatest Imperial incursions of all time. You got a demon Primarch there. His axe speaks to him. He's like, fuck it, whatever.
And not only that, he actively killed multiple Grey Knights. When they came to, the Grey Knights were like, we're going to kill all these humans on this world because they know about us.
That part of it, yeah.
And Grimnar was like, no. You're not allowed to do that. And the Grey Knights are like, oh, yeah, bet. And Grimnar fucking teleported to their ship and was like, fuck you guys. Whoosh. And killed multiple of these motherfuckers. And they were like,
that's
win.
that axe of Khârn, I guess.
We'll leave. You win. And now he's going to be like, hey, guys, I know we had our issues, but there's this thing where there's this big guy. And you come help.
Look, you guys have one job.
Yeah.
And this all took place after demons. This all took place after the first War of Armageddon, too, mind you, because there was that whole thing with the Inquisition.
Okay, so that was probably what it was. Okay, so he summoned the Grey Knights, and then the Grey Knight versus Grimnar.
They started targeting the citizens because they were at risk of infection or whatnot when they were
here to fucking explain this to us.
Yeah. That I had heard about. The Inquisition and the Grey Knights were like, A, chaos has been here, so we have to kill people because they could be tainted and influenced, and then B, like I said, they're not supposed to know about the Grey Knights, so we have to kill them for that. And the Space Wolves were like, but these people just fought against the demons an honorable battle to save their world. Fuck you.
But half of you also fell day 2. So fuck all you humans.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely on the Space Wolf side. I would have to look more. I feel like I could legitimize Logan Grimnar using this axe, but I would want to read more about the reforging process and stuff, because we've talked about, especially with the Space Wolves, similar to the White Scars, with their their psychers, their rune priests, almost having their own unique interaction with a planetary warp spirit kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I could see that working using the soul of Fenris to not completely strip the axe of like any of its like warp history and like coordinate stuff, but to sort of like tame it in battle in like that reforging process.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool image actually that you're painting, where it's like
Yeah.
the cold ice waters of Fenris are being used to like quench the metal of this blade over and over, just like taming it, breaking it, reforging it. Like, yeah, kind of a cool like hot and cold interaction.
Yeah,
And at the
Fuzz
very
is
least,
right
like,
too.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Fuzz is right too, because like I can't remember the specific book. I'm gonna have to look it up. But I'm pretty sure there was like somewhat of a reforging or like a somewhat of a purification process. It's not fully rid of its chaos intent, but like it's done in a way that Logan could actually use it.
I think part of this plays into just who the Space Wolves are actually supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they're not on the level of like a Grey Knight or a Ultramarine named Titus, but they're
My boy.
Yeah.
they're supposed to be those guys that they can fight this stuff. Like they were born to do this, and that's a big belief of theirs. Even is the weird makes it so that things are what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
And like even like how the Grey Knights, their armor is the armor of Aegeus, and it's all warded in runes and all that. Like Fenris has their own system of runes and like trinkets and stuff as protection, so they have runic armor.
yeah, and I think that's a big part of it is like just who they're supposed to be. Like I said, I don't know if you were in here, Fuzz, but at one point, 1,000 Sun freezes a custodian, but can't take on 2 Space Wolves.
Okay.
So, like, he even knocks the custody down and steals his whatever their halberd's called.
Oh, they're like the
Guardian
lance
spear.
thing, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he steals that and continues to fight a Space Wolf. So he knocks out one Space Wolf and has to fight another one barehanded.
No one
And
like
that Space Wolf
this is
kicks
fucking
his dick
stupid.
in.
Like, so did he steal the Guardian spear that it's gene locked to fucking Adeptus Custodes? And he's like,
Excuse
fuck
you.
the gene locking.
Argel Tall also figures out how to break the gene locking.
Mhm.
But I think
here's how I do it. If I hold the hand of a fucking Custodes, and then that is holding the tool.
I said the Custodes have bigger hands than a
gene
Space
seed.
Marine. I say the Custodes have bigger hands than a Space Marine, so you just like wear their hand like a glove, and then you can.
So for the 1,000 Sun, I don't think he was activating it. I think he was wielding it, but he wasn't activating it as a power weapon.
Sure.
Okay.
Argos Hall does figure out a way to get past it. It's explained in the book.
Well, I'm not going to read that book, so
Can be done.
It's
you
blood,
can't
is what he
make me. I
says.
won't do it.
Well, see, I don't literally read. Let's not get carried away here. I get Audible books.
That's right.
Or Fuzz
Audiobook
posts them somewhere, and I get a lot of them.
Trust me, I've tried to teach Toasty how to read. His nails just bite harder.
Oh,
Yeah, you start explaining the whatever te is. No, we're not doing it.
no. You hand Toasty a book, and he just starts ripping it in half like Arnold Schwarzenegger phone book style. Like,
If
perfect.
I've lost.
I could use it as a weapon.
Over at Grimlore, Ray has lost so many books because Toasty would try to read them and just end up ripping them to pieces.
Look, if you guys tell me cool stories, and I'm like, gosh, I need to read that, and then
That's the whole point of the Grimlore podcast, is to teach you cool stories from Warhammer Fantasy.
then you don't have to.
Now I'm getting mad. Are you happy now?
yes,
I mean, this is the episode to do that on. Yeah.
All right, flip some tables. Let's make it happen.
Rah!
Yeah. Gerald's one of those fun people where it is funny to try to picture him angry. Like, just imagine Gerald kicking a puppy. Like, it's
Fuck.
like
never.
it's
You would
impossible.
never,
I think.
okay?
But,
We'll
it's
see.
a fun thought.
Yeah, I can't imagine Gerald kicking a puppy, but also not looking happy while he does it, which is almost worse.
Oh yeah.
I swear that's like Toasty's personal mission every time he joins me on Grimlore is like, how can I make Gerald angry? Okay, how can I make him scared?
It's either got to be a fear of repercussions or the angry of whatever makes you angry.
So we're like or just like a general fear of you and Joe in the same episode.
Fair.
Okay. Good grief. There's a lot of material on the First War of Armageddon, so let's just power on through this. Yet Grimnar had witnessed them fight before, and as the master of the Space Marine chapter, he had never been compelled to undergo the Inquisition's purges of memory that silenced almost all who saw the Grey Knights at war. Among the Grey Knights committed to Armageddon was Squad Castian, assigned to a hastily assembled formation known as the Ragged Brotherhood, operating under Terramar Aurelian, brother captain of the Third Brotherhood. Brother. When the moment came, the Grey Knights translated directly into the heart of the advancing Chaos host, materializing around the towering demon Primarch himself. They suffered grievous losses beneath Angron's ferocity, yet answered blow for blow, until Squad Castian was drawn into close combat with the Red Angel. Angron tore the squad apart. That's probably my favorite line right now. Only the Hyperion remained standing, a Pyroking, master of psychic flame. In a final act of defiance and duty, he shielded a wounded brother and through sheer will and exertion, shattered Angron's demonic weapon, the Black Blade, before collapsing into unconsciousness. With the Primarch disarmed, Captain Aurelian advanced alone. He confronted the demon Prince of Khârn and banished him back to the warp, paying for the victory with his life.
I didn't know that the Black Blade was broken. I was giving Angron some flack for changing swords over 10,000 years. But okay, the Black Blade was broken here. But it can be reforged.
But that's my favorite part about the new sword that he gets that came out with his new model was I forget the name of it, but it was because like a demon of Slaanesh had insulted him. So he took an iron rod and beat the ever-living shit out of the demon of Slaanesh until it just reforged into his sword.
Fuck no.
My good man, exactly. It is called Semahain or something like that. And he, after losing the Black Blade, which plays into the story of the Red Angel later, which is another reason I'll love to bug you guys about it. But he...
deep knowledge from Toasty.
Dude, I
love it.
Love Angron. I love the World Eaters. Like, I will read any book that involves them. There's actually a Black Templar book I'm going to read because it has to deal with the World Eaters. Because a funny thing that happens in a lot of World Eaters stuff, it seems, is when they die. That's right. That's how we got Return of the King, aka Angron.
Yeah. I've been reading again on this one.
But
Angron.
When it's a, I don't know, it's a weird thing. The Black Blade's still like kind of part of Angron. It's a weird,
all right,
whole weird situation. But to kind of wrap up this,
and you also just like to see Black Templars suffer too. So
absolutely. I mean, so anytime a World Eater seems to die, even from what I understand in 8-Bound, I haven't read the book yet, but from what I've heard, even when the 8-Bound died, they make the sign of the Aquila and they say sorry. Or they apologize to their brothers, like, this isn't what we were supposed to be. This is what was supposed to happen.
Huh.
It's a big thing. It's a theme with the World Eaters where they realize they're not doing what they should be doing, but it's all they know at this point.
Interesting.
But to round up the First War of Armageddon, so I can talk to you guys about the Red Angel at some point. Hyperion was one of only 13 Grey Knights to survive the battle. From the 109 warriors of the Third Brotherhood committed to the campaign, discovered barely alive amid the slaughter of the Space Wolves after the fighting ended, he would later be granted the title Bladebreaker in recognition of his deed. That might be the guy I'm thinking of. His wounds were so severe that he was placed in stasis to preserve his life, and extensive augmetic reconstruction replaced much of his face and skull. More than 4 standard months passed before he was deemed fit to return to active service. Is this a World Eater or a Grey Knight episode? Come on. The Grey Knights had prevailed, casting the demon prince's essence back into the warp, where it would be denied form for over 100 Terran years. As they struck at the heart of the demonic host through direct teleport assault upon the Primarch, the Space Wolves simultaneously unleashed a full counter-offensive across the Imperial front. The armies of chaos collapsed upon witnessing their lord's banishment, and the only World Eaters withdrew in disciplined order, falling back to the Space Hulk and escaping into the warp. The Imperial victory was absolute, yet it was purchased with ruin, sacrifice, and a cost that would scar all who survived. So that's when one of the main characters of the Red Angel took the Conqueror. At the end of Armageddon, Khârn boarded the Conqueror and took it, thinking Angron's not coming back.
Yeah, how do you guys feel about like banishment and stuff? Like, it's kind of fun that you get like these big demons that now you can battle them and you don't have to end it in a stalemate. They could win, they could lose, but they could still come back. You kind of get the best of both worlds with that. Or is it just gay that, you know, you banish Angron for 8 days, 8 months, and 8 hours every time? Like, how do you guys feel?
I like when things kind of have a balance where, like, you know, each side has their like fatal weaknesses and stuff like that. So like I guess if exists a way to truly kill Angron, not just banish him, I think it's fine, because it's just it as it should be, just is the greatest challenge to find a way to give him a true death.
Sure.
As long as that's an option. Because like I said, it gives a in-universe reason that makes sense, because like in every like fantasy series world franchise, like typically, like, yeah, when you kill a demon, it gets banished back to its realm and it will reform after a brief period of time. Well, I say brief, after a period of time, and be able to come back. I mean, it happens in Diablo, it happens in Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder, it happens in World of Warcraft. So like I think it's a pretty standard thing for them to do, especially ones as powerful as Angron.
Yeah.
Games perspective, I love it. I want, you know, if my Angron dies tabletop, I don't want to be like the next time I play, like, I guess I can't play my baby boy.
Sorry, Angron, I rolled too many ones, buddy.
Yeah. So that perspective, I haven't played tabletop outside of, I think, Grimaldus that half taught me because I'd never had time to do it. Outside of that, it does kind of suck to have that where it's like, okay, well, you know, you got Gilliman back, and Gilliman has the blade of his dad who can kill any demon, supposedly. No, so if he fights Angron, he beat Mortarion with it, didn't he? Technically?
Yeah.
I don't know if he actually got the final blow with it or whatever. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, that kind of sucks, because like now you've killed this big demon, but he can still come back. Like now he's in timeout because Nurgle's mad at him because he didn't do good enough.
Yeah.
So there's that. There is that kind of crappy situation, but I'm always going to root for Angron to come back, so I don't care.
Yeah. It's almost like now it's an excuse just to like, okay, how do we make this character? It's like that the Worf effect or the Khârn effect, but now you can like repeat it over and over.
I'm going to need you not to call it the Khârn effect, sir.
Sorry.
Don't do that.
My bad. I only did that just as fuck.
How dare you?
Now you have to stop hunting that other
I'll
guy.
say it.
You have to come hunt me. Fuck.
I'll say it, the Khârn effect.
Look, you're in running distance. It might take me a couple days.
But you are in running distance.
I distracted him, Mark. Run away. Run further south. He's going to get to me before he gets to you.
Right,
Mark, why are you living in Antarctica now?
I'm hoping the cold will just cool his blood. Fuck.
The cold keeps Angron away.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I kind of agree with Mark though. Like we know GW is bringing back Primarchs because they sell and all that stuff because it's a good business model. But like you'd said at one point, Mark, a long time ago, that like it makes more sense for like the demon Primarchs, especially the ones for the big four Chaos Gods: Fulgrim, Angron, Morty, Magnus. Because like they can keep coming back. You can kill them at the end of the campaign. They can come back after a certain timer or whatever. So like with the Demon Primarch specifically, like I'm not as upset about it. But when you have someone like Gilliman, the Lion, and then whoever they end up bringing back next, it's just like, okay, how can we contrive some way that they either win, they're either going to have to win, or they're going to have to barely survive and then retreat ad infinitum, until they just, the whole narrative is just done. So you're muted, Mark.
You're muted, Mark.
Yeah, it definitely has its pros and its cons for sure.
In the end, game perspective, it gives you a reason to constantly have those people back. Has anybody else played Magic the Gathering?
Yeah, but every time Angron has to come back, you have to buy a new Angron model and paint him up and stuff.
Let's not get carried away here.
It's smash at the end of every.
My Angron model, I'm literally physically assaulting somebody. There are no exceptions here. I don't care how old the child is.
If that child's in the game store, he's fair game.
Exactly. I'll kick a 3-year-old across the fucking room.
You ever seen the Absolute Batman where he punched some little clown girl?
Hey,
fucking tight.
Oh no!
Come out acting like the Joker. You deserved it at that point.
Yeah, exactly. All right, the Noctis Eterna. During the long darkness of the Noctis Eterna, following the tearing open of the Great Rift, all reinforcement routes were severed amid the Third War for Armageddon. Both sides were isolated, and many forces bound for the system were lost entirely, swallowed by the warp. Those warriors, stranded upon Armageddon, were forced to contend not only with one another, but also successive incursions of demon hosts. So dire did their struggle become that humans and orcs at times fought side by side against the greater threat. Though such truces were brief and ended in renewed bloodshed. When the Astronomicon finally burned clear again and the passage through the Immaterium within the Imperium Sanctus was restored, Imperial relief forces arrived to find Armageddon transformed beyond recognition. At the height of the warp storms, the demonic legions of Chinching Khârn had turned upon one another, waging their endless war within the confines of the world itself. Imperial troops and orc warbands alike were driven to shelter as colossal greater demons clashed for dominance. Nearly half of the planet was remade into the warped hellscape where the nightmares of the warp fused with shattered remnants of the besieged hive world. The arriving Imperial forces, led by the warriors from the 9 Space Marine chapters under command of the Salamanders, ultimately halted the demonic rite intended to draw Angron back to the world, but had once denied him during the First War for Armageddon. So, man, Armageddon takes it hard, and now Armageddon's basically finally, destroyed. It's no longer habitable. Like it's not a functioning place no more.
Just too much like warp tank going around the planet, it sounds like.
Yeah, you can't have a productive society in that kind of situation,
Yeah.
You're just like, I want to work my 9 to 5, but these goddamn demons always popping up on the sea train, and it's a nightmare.
And I mean, that's, what it is in the Imperium, Nihilus, at least in like certain parts of it, in the Wrath and Glory RPG setting, it takes place like kind of near where some of the warp storms are. And yeah, it's just like they're constantly on the back foot because demons are just freely flowing near their borders and attacking them. And it just sucks. Like I said, can't get my job done. I can't go to work. Can't get any sleep because these demons are knocking on my door.
Get sleep, goddamn. Fuck. Yeah. Is that technically like the 4th War for Armageddon, or is that kind of just like
that was pretty much that was pretty much like the 4th War of Armageddon. I think Well, my thing says it's an upcoming narrative campaign. I thought they had already released it like a little short bit ago, but I guess not.
Interesting. Kind of just teasing. Cool.
No.
I mean, the basic plot points are there. Angron comes back. He's defeated by Grey Knights, but in the end, like Armageddon is just like eternally screwed up now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's like half. It's like half in the warp, which that's what it is. That's the end. All right. So now that the galaxy's been ripped in half and Armageddon got boned, we're to the era Indominus. In the era Indominus, the World Eaters have risen to a strength not witnessed since the days of the Great Crusade. Angron's renewed incursions into Imperial space alone would be calamity enough, yet it has become clear that the Red Angel can no longer be banished from real space for long. Those Inquisitors who grasp the truth offer many explanations for his growing permanence, foremost among them that the vast tides of warp energy unleashed by the Great Rift, even the firepower of void ship-grade weapons now serves only to delay him before he manifests anew. Should Angron be cast back into the warp by force, he returns unbroken after precisely 8 weeks, 8 days, and 8 hours. His coming marked by 8 crimson omens that announce his presence and spread dread across entire war zones. Angron now walks real space in the era Indominus, no longer a foe that can be denied for long. At his back march the warbands of the World Eaters. Since the sundering of the Legion on Skalathrax, the act that earned Khârn the Betrayer his name and shattered the 12th Legion, these warbands have waged war alone. Yet all answer the call of their fallen Gene-sire. Some, such as Gladiator Cadre 331, still bear the blue and white of the Legion's Great Crusade past, while others have reshaped themselves for new wars, like the ship-borne Void Butchers. That's a fucking coordinate warband name if I ever heard one.
Mm-hmm.
Their divisions extend even to the method, for not all World Eaters hurl themselves howling into close combat. The Bloodstalkers, scorned by many of their kin, prosecute war with patience and disciplined fire, arguing that survival yields greater tribute in skulls. The 66th Armored Company have fused flesh and machine, crushing the foe from within iron hulls. With the World Eaters once more drawn together beneath their Primarch, Angron stands poised to wage war as a true power in the great game, presenting the Imperium with a renewed and enduring threat in the era Indominus. So that, like, kind of rolling back to like what talking about before with Primarch coming back, I think if Angron can walk the material universe functionally like unhindered by the need to go back to warp space, bring some fucking loyalist Primarch back. Who the fuck cares? Like, if you're taking away that limiter on him, then yes, bring back loyalist Primarchs. I do not care at that point.
Yeah, that's interesting. They took that little limiter away, like you said.
Yeah, but it makes sense in the lore. Like, I'm not saying that I think it's like bad writing or like it's just like shoehorned in there. Like, the galaxy's ripped in half. There's more warp energy pouring into the material universe than there ever has been before. And so just, that juice is flowing for him to soak up to stay in our universe. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But again, like that balance, bring others back.
And it wasn't that like Angron came back all of a sudden, like his model, his 40K model was released within the past few years, but it's like it's been established that like he's been stirring up stuff like over the past 10,000 years along with his legion. So it's like he's always kind of been there, more or less.
Yeah.
Toasty, is he one of the more active demon Primarchs?
I think he's the most active just because he's the angry one. He's the one who's going to go out and he's going to do stuff. Mortarion's mad constantly because he still feels like, dad didn't like me, and then dad didn't like me, and then now new dad doesn't like me. Magnus is constantly trying to learn. Like, he's a demon Primarch in the sense like he hates the Space Wolves. And then Fulgrim's just like what can I gain from doing anything? How can I look better than I do now? Meanwhile, Angron's just like, I want to fuck shit up as much as possible.
I need skulls, and there's only one place to get them.
Yeah, imagine Angron just like being like, I'm fucking bored. I'm gonna go kill something, and just like shoots into material space and starts fucking shit up.
And well, one of my favorite things of Angron, and so this plays back to the Red Angel now that we've covered most of what we were going to cover. The Red Angel, there's a World Eater Berserker named Shaka the Bloodless, and he absolutely okay, yeah. Now that I've seen him with wings, in the book, I'm pretty sure he ascends the demonhood during the book. Like they're just he's this crazy dude who's like, they're like, all right, you're going to war. And they just kind of shoot him at places, and he leads this war, kind of like Khârn. And I love that. That's actually one of my favorite. That's Angron. So that's one of my favorite artworks of Angron. But Shaka, he doesn't know if he wants to fight alongside Angron or if he wants to fight Angron. And he's constantly going at it. And when he's constantly seeing the Red Angel. He's seeing this little angel that's like, are you coming with me? Or do you want to fight against me? And Shaka becomes this entire demon prince over this entire thing, but he keeps his nails just like Angron. Like Khârn's like, yeah, you guys are cool, but like the butcher's nails makes you guys cooler. So who is Naraka?
Jack says not as cool as Narka the Bloodless, but when I Google it, only gay shit came up. So Jack.
Yeah, wrong.
Try again. Wrong. Faking gay.
Just another Night Lords fan.
Just another Night Lords fan.
But
they're always looking in the shadow, those guys.
Shaka goes through all that. You got Khârn. Khârn is the guy who stole the Conqueror from Armageddon because he's like, Dad's not coming back. I might as well take it. The whole time he's being undermined by Latara Sarin's like demon form. She does whatever she wants with the ship. And he's like, well, we got to make, how can we be friends? And then once he discovers, like, how can we be friends? The ship starts acting crazy. And he's like, at one point in the book, he's like, I could probably take Angron if I needed to. Like, at this point, like, my armor is fused with my body. I'm in Terminator armor that is bone. I can run. I can do anything a regular Space Marine can do, but I'm in Terminator armor. As soon as Angron starts materializing on the ship, this dude shits himself and runs away. Literally, like he 1 minute he's like, I could take Dad. I could take Angron, no problem. And then he's walking, and then Angron not even materialized fully. Like his face forms out of the warp. There's lightning. There's fire. There's like a storm in the ship, and he's like, and he runs away. Like.
I have made a mistake.
Yeah, the idea of like how a demon Primarch appears to some people, and he gets out of it. So Khârn is like, I need to run the ship, and he's trying to get with Latara, and well, not like get with Latara, you know what I'm saying? But like, he's like, what can we do? Like, we need to run this ship. But like, like Angron's not going to do anything for this ship, and that's when Angron starts tearing through the ship and like kills. He's fighting Slaneshi demons constantly. Actually, Shaka fights a Keeper of Secrets, I believe. Kills a Keeper of Secrets, and that's when he ascends to demonhood. Exactly, Jax. That's the one thing you've gotten right tonight. But but it's the whole Red Angel book is just wild, and it's there's a Grey Knight in it, and I can't remember the name. I want to say it's the Grey Knight. I'm scrolling up real quick. I can't remember his freaking name. I want to say it's Hyperion. I could be wrong. He got a piece of the Black Blade stuck in his leg, and that's how they sensed where Angron was going to be.
Oh, interesting.
When this guy ends up fighting Angron in that baby carrier thing. Which still makes me angry to this day.
Yeah. Man, there's a lot of fucking badass artwork of Angron nowadays.
That was him ripping out of the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Yep, that's actually part of what we were talking about with the Arcs of Omen. Angron's portion of the Arcs of Omen.
Or the Arcs of Omen, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where that image comes from that you have highlighted, Mark.
Cool. The Arcs of Omen does happen. There's some stuff in there that I'm not too fully sure of. I know Angron makes an appearance in Lionel Johnson and him have a nice little duel. I don't even know the outcome of the duel. I'm assuming neither one died because that's kind of how Primarch duels work.
Angron.
Okay.
Angron dies.
Oh,
So
God.
this is where Toasty and I come in. So the Arcs of Omen is like a 5-book campaign series, mostly centered around like the introduction of Vashtor as like the new Chaos Space Marine demon who's trying to become a chaos, who he himself is trying to become a chaos god. I believe it is the Toasty, is it the second or the third book that
Angron's, I think, is the second.
It's either the second book. One deals with Abaddon, the other one deals with Vashtor, one deals with Angron, another one deals with Farsight for some reason, as he's like in the
random,
like randomly in the process of falling to Khârn, and then the last one is the Lion.
Well, is it the belief that Farsight's blade is Khârn adjacent?
I think that's what that is.
Man, that's such bullshit. I fucking hate sometimes that they go back and change shit, like or flesh that out. Like, it doesn't look like a Khârn weapon. It looks like a fucking Necron blade. Let's Google
Same
it.
thing.
Yeah, let's Google it, and then we can talk more about Angron and Arcs of Omen. So basically, the whole campaign is like Vashtor is helping out, and he creates this entire fleet of space hulks he deems the Arcs of Omen. That's where it gets its name from. Angron is on one of these because there's a planet that has a device or a key that Vashtor needs. So Angron is assaulting this planet, just like what Toasty Fuzz and I were talking about earlier. Like, he just like rips a hole through the Conqueror, yeets himself out of it, and just like busts through Imperial ships like a fucking bullet. So metal. Like, he's ripping himself up in the process, but he's a demon priorarch, so he reconstitutes. There's this machine on this planet called the Coral device. And it's actually like a kind of like an amplifier for psychic energy, and like it just makes the nails hurt Angron so much worse because of like that nullifying effect. So like it just pisses him off. So he's going after, he's assaulting the planet or whatnot. He makes his way to the coral device. And to make a long story short, because I know we got some more notes to go through, he essentially destroys the machine, but it obliterates him in the process. But then they made a point of saying for a split second in that death, he had finally felt his release from the bite of the nails. Then he reconstitutes and comes back. So the joke is just like, he's finally at peace after he dies, and then he comes back into real space or the warp, and he's just like, damn it!
Damn it.
I was so close.
Earlier in the
part
chat,
of his thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, earlier in the
And
chat,
then,
Frog said it'd be real cool to say Angron redeemed through death, to get a moment where he got to exist without the nails and even be there for a short moment before he dies. So that does happen. That is a cool little story arc that he gets that release until back to it.
Right. And then how much more angry is he now that he knows what he could have had and he lost it?
Oh, infinitely so. And then his whole thing in the Lion book was just like he duels the lion. I don't even know too much of the details, but like they trade a few blows. He beats up the lion, and the lion finally decapitates him with the Emperor's shield.
With the Emperor's shield? Oh, that's so good.
No, it's not. Listen.
Yeah, listen.
Look, so my issue with that is it's the same thing that happened with Rubute. Dad came to save him. If it weren't for Dad, they wouldn't have lasted near as long as they did. Angron's basically just bullying the lion, and the lion's like, oh my god, how can I stay alive? And he's got this shield, which I didn't read the part where he got the shield, but he ended up with the shield. And Dad, I read the excerpt because I was like, I need to figure out about the lion versus Angron. Okay, leave me alone. When people are constantly bullying you in fucking forums about Angron getting bullied by the lion, you gotta figure out what's going on.
I'm just saying, they're just skipping any context around the fight.
So I know about the fight.
No,
I just don't know how you got the shield. And it ends up playing into the lion can actually think about a battle while Angron cannot anymore. Angron is like, this is what's in front of me. This is my brother that needs to die because we're no longer brothers. So he's after him. And the lion's like, well, okay, now I'm down in this area. Okay, there's fog. Okay, well, I can use that to my advantage. If I break up in some of these steam pipes, I can, make more. And he's moving around, and he's like, that's how he beats Angron. Rather than, the Angron's just fucking like, I need to kill. Mm-hmm. So but they're just saved by Dad. And that's why Perturaba is coming out before the next fucking Loyalist Primarch, because they get Dad's help.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah, man. It's this is one of those reasons why I try to avoid the novels, because then you get to find out the nitty-gritty details and I'm always left unsatisfied, as opposed to if I just found out that they battled and one was banished. And man, I just feel like sometimes I'm left hanging with like a bag of shit and I'm like, come on, GW.
See, I think that's sorry, go ahead.
No, it's nothing.
Also, I think at least for the novels, I've been enjoying the ones that don't have to do with things on that power level. So when you get like the nitty gritty, it almost grounds the universe a little bit more. So like, Adeptus Sororitas books, the Imperial Guard books and stuff, like the Kane books, it's dealing with those those more ground level things, those more base power level things. So it's getting that kind of stuff is cool for the story.
Yeah, and I guess that's a good point. Like, whatever you're writing on, you kind of are stuck to the limits of that, where, when you're writing, like, when you're reading the Horus Heresy, these Primarchs, they're always described as, like, awe-inducing, and everyone bends their knee to them, and it just, like...
Except Angron.
Yeah, it just drains me a little, but...
Well, so the other thing to note, too, is, like, the Arcs of Omen series is not novels, per se. It's actually, like, it's a set of campaign books that feature different I'm just pulling up one of the things on Lexicanum. Ongoing narrative Warhammer 40k, including the Rise of the Red Angel, Resurgent World Eaters, spread of photography, battle scenes featuring the armies and the Malak system, additional rules for using 6 factions in boarding actions for Space Marines, Grey Knights, Astronauts Arm, Chaos Space Marines, World Eaters, and Orcs, terrain components, rules for boarding actions. So this is all like mission based and like a different narrative that you can actually do for your gameplay. So this is all just like the overarching story for that particular campaign that they're doing. So that's what that is. Not like necessarily a novel series like the Horus Heresy.
Okay.
It is funny because those things like make me feel like, okay, I have the Arcs of Omen book with Angron in it. I get more rules than everybody else. Wait, I get buffs that you guys don't see coming? Then everybody's like, no, we play by 10th edition. I'm like, oh. Never mind.
All right. Well, let's move on from their history to some other things, such as their appearance. What do these bad boy shorties look like?
Okay, everyone in the chat, take a look at Toasty. Give him a red helmet and maybe some red bunny ears, and there you go.
You got yourself a nice little world eater.
The nicest of world eaters, okay? I'm like super calm. Not the time.
But those are the guys you look out for, is the ones that are super calm, and deep down inside them there's something lurking.
I've only killed like 3 or 4 hookers, guys. Just calm down.
Okay.
When you get up to 8 hookers, then we'll worry for you, okay? Then we'll know you're up to something more nefarious than just killing hookers.
That's where the cutoff is.
Yeah.
How else do I summon them, guys? Come on.
You have to kill 8 hookers within, 8 weeks, 8 days, and 8 hours. You have that time frame from the first kill.
You have until Angron reconstitutes before you shit yourself and run away. So now that
I'm just gonna
everyone's
hug
done,
his hoof and die. Okay.
Oh my god.
well, now that everyone in the chat has done Oogle and Toasty, here's an actual appearance of the World Eaters. When the World Eaters surrendered themselves to war without restraint and were claimed by the Blood God, their white and blue heraldry was drowned beneath red and brass, the colors of Khârn. Yet fragments of their former liveries still cling to individual suits of armor, worn like funeral shrouds for a brotherhood they remember but can never reclaim. Most World Eaters still bear the Legion sigil they earned during the Great Crusade, though it is now defaced or overshadowed by the mark of Khârn and other war sigils. In battle, they favor chain axes and chainswords, weapons chosen for their honesty and finality, though the greatest champions wield ancient relics and coronate blades bound with the rage of demons. Or unless you're Logan Grimnar. Many renegade Astartes have since taken up Khorne's path and mimicked the panoply of the World Eaters, but none can match the legacy carved by tens of thousands of wars and unbroken slaughter endured by the original Legion since the fires of the heresy. Once the Imperium's most disciplined shock assault force, the World Eaters are now a brotherhood of doomed warriors, still bound by loyalty, still driven by duty, who prosecute war with merciless precision, offering blood and skulls not in madness but in grim obedience to a fate they did not choose.
Yeah, fucking tight.
Mildly upset frog. I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
I didn't eat any of them technically. Okay.
Toasty is a very giving lover.
I did what I could before I got rid of them. Okay.
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna take that as I kill a lot of Emperor's Children warbands. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah, the World Eaters fucking look tight. They're brass and red. That color scheme change. Their white and blue looked really good when it was splattered, but man, the red and brass and the coronate headdress bunny ear things, like so iconic, man.
I love both so much. Like,
yeah,
that I literally, my guys are painted in the old white and blue. Most of them. I did 5 berserkers in white and blue, and I did 5 berserkers in the red and brass. And I, spray blood on them. But the only thing that sucks is with the red and brass, like, you know how much of that blood you see?
Nada.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum. You'll notice that little bit on, the bunny ear where the trim is brass. Other than that, you don't notice it. So I'm kind of like, this white and blue scheme.
Yeah, okay. So
it's
you don't
good,
just paint the World Eater with blood for the Blood God, the red?
So I have blood for the Blood God, and I got them right here.
For the Blood God, like no other shade of red.
Dip it in there.
Yes, sir.
No. You can't paint them in that. Come on, guys.
Have you guys ever heard of?
You dunk them. That's it.
Yeah, have you ever heard?
That's blood letters. You can't do that with.
It's like Dunkaroos, but
That's blood letters. You can't do that with warbands. Come on.
The dip method.
Yeah, the dip method. For
It's
sure.
not get carried away, guys.
I made the joke once too that like maybe it's red and brass because like all is just so blood soaked that it's just it just looks red.
Yeah.
I think that's the original story of the World Eaters colors. It's just
We're still talking about the hookers eaters. All the parts so nothing goes to waste.
this is gonna be the corn's teeth for Toasty.
Yeah,
You're
for
welcome.
real.
Look. Also, yes. Look, the Jackson, mildly upset frog are both. They're okay. They're all right in my book.
They ain't a hooker, so they are safe.
The moment I find they're having sex for fucking money, now I'm finding y'all.
Now let that be a warning to you, young Jacks.
And I'll use everybody. It's great being invited to the last episode of Warhammer Beyond, guys. But as far as the badges for the World Eaters, when the World Eaters surrendered themselves to war without restraint and were claimed by the Blood God, their white and blue heraldry was drowned beneath red and brass, the colors of Khârn. Yet fragments of their former livery still cling to individual suits of armor, worn like funeral shrouds for a brotherhood they remember but can never reclaim. Yeah, so that's...
I feel like this is a repeat of what I just said.
You did, but it's...
Dude, let's just fucking skip it then.
All right, no, go off, Tosi. You can say it better. Go ahead.
No, you said it already. But that's why my world eaters are painted the way they are. There's still world eaters out there repping their old colors.
Yeah.
I do like that idea of maybe like a world eater that still has like a fragment of a cloak with the old Legion heraldry on it, something like that. Or just like, they've got a chain wrapped around one wrist and like the remnants of like their banner wrapped around the other one from when they were still loyalists.
Yeah, I think there's a big speech from Khârn about it, about how they forsake their old colors for the new because it's the new god they follow thanks to their Primarch.
Cool. Yeah, and like they're known for changing colors. They went from the predominantly blue with white accent, then they go to predominantly white with blue accents. Like depending on like who they're kind of serving at the time, they change their colors. So, let's go into their organization next. Driven into the Eye of Terror and bound irrevocably to Khârn, the Legion's rites of blood became central to the World Eater's existence. Vast tides of slaughter offered a grim obedience rather than revelry. The legendary tactical cohesion of the Space Marines eroded under endless war, worn down by years of unrelenting violence. As officers and champions were claimed by demonic pacts or elevated as warlords, the final strands of structure frayed, the once proud Legion breaking into frenzied but purposeful engines of annihilation. After the Night of Madness upon Skalathrax, when Khârn turned his blade upon his own kin, the World Eater shattered in a single ruinous day. From the slaughter emerged not a legion, but countless warbands, bound not by blood and oath, but by promise. Warbands. Let's pull up some World Eater warbands as I read, just so you can see some other colors. These warbands range from lone champions to full companies capable of catastrophic destruction. Their leaders will march beside almost any Chaos Lord who gathers warriors, demanding only war as payment, even though such allies must tread carefully lest they become trophies themselves. In accordance with Khârn's creed, which brands psychic power as dishonorable, the World Eaters maintain no sorcerers in their ranks. While other traitor leaders empower their librarians during the Horus Heresy, the World Eaters stood apart in iron rejection. As sacrifice and judgment, the Legion's librarians were hurled and slain by their own brothers, for Khârn abhors the warp touched. This purge reached its end when Skalathrax the Slaughterer killed the Legion's chief librarian, severing the final restraint and sealing the World Eater's descent upon the Eightfold Path, an eternal service to the Skull Throne. Yeah, so their organization is not. It is not there at all anymore.
Yeah, it's like how is the World Eaters warbands organized? Nah,
we don't do that here.
Nah.
We're organized into axes and blades, maybe.
Right.
Not even.
Still irritates me.
Them and us.
Them and and even sometimes
Us and us.
Us and us.
Us and us. 100%. But like, I feel like all the fucking Chaos Marines like should all get their own like. Okay, just because you're Alpha Legion, you got to be all snipers and sneaky dudes. Like you can't do anything else. Like, no. Like every warband has their own ridiculousness to it. So,
yeah, like it talked about the one that had that had the snipers and more careful fighters.
Yeah, there's Lior, which I said the wrong name 300 times. Whatever.
Yeah,
but
just as a little side note here, I'm working on a World Eaters warband right now. I'll give you a little teaser.
Look,
because it's a different little take. They're called the Knights of Slaughter. We
it's
dive into the
sexy.
brutal nightly madness of the Knights of Slaughter, a World Eaters warband forged during the Great Crusade. Once allies of the Dark Angels, these berserkers adopted knightly codes, heraldry, and ritualized duels. But the butcher's nails ensured their honor always ended in blood. They have the 8 codes of slaughter, the 8 litanies and war chants of war, the 4 orders of battle. Basically, the vibe was, instead of leaning into that berserker like madness, I'm leaning into like the honor aspect of Khârn, honor dueling and all that kind of fun stuff. So, you know, yeah, you can have different type of world eaters out there. They're not all berserkers. Like, these guys are still berserkers, but they definitely have some type of code that they follow. And if you're watching the video, you got this badass guy with the heavy bolter. We showed him on the last episode, but
Leor.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Leor, I said the wrong name
yeah,
like 3 or 4 times.
There's all
Warband.
types of ways to kill your enemies. I'll tell you that.
He's actually one of the big founding members of the Black Legion, to being a former world eater, and he's like, compared to the rest of his brethren, like one of the more chill.
Listen here,
If that
fucker.
makes-
Don't you say the rest. There's a bunch of motherfuckers who are fighting those nails every day. You don't even understand the pain they go through.
Yeah, look at this old world eater artwork. He has like a shoulder-mounted plasma cannon.
That's fucking sick.
I'm gonna put a fucking Knight's plasma cannon on a fucking berserker now.
I'm in. You sold me.
Fucking tight. I love this like style of artwork where it's like sketches, maybe. Is how
Yeah.
you describe them.
Yeah, it looks very sketch-like.
Beautiful, you mean?
Also that, yes.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's jump into the homeworld.
All right. So, the World Eater's homeworld. Angron ordered the destruction of several other worlds, seemingly at random during the heresy. Imperial scholars speculate that they were Warhound's World Eater's recruitment worlds, but the truth is lost after 10,000 years. Unlike the other traitor legions, the World Eaters are not known to claim any single world as their own within the warped reaches of the Eye of Terror that now shelters the Fallen. This is believed to stem from the Legion's shattered state, for the World Eaters no longer exist as a unified host. Instead, they endure as many warbands. They endure as many warbands of Khornate warriors, ranging the stars in search of battle, bound by shared blood and memory, but lacking any higher command or enduring unity. So, I think you guys talked about earlier, or maybe it was part of the 30K episode because I was listening to that today, that they just recruit from whatever world they happen to be raiding at the time. Maybe they just red tithe wherever they go. It sounds like.
Yeah. Excuse me. It got really quiet all of a sudden. Fuzz, you're muted.
Thank you. Pulled a mark. So because sorry, I forget for Chaos. Do they still have the same restrictions for making new Chaos Mace Marines as far as like age of applicants and stuff?
No.
Okay, so they could even recruit if like a Traitor Guard Legion joins up, they could pluck people from that and try. It doesn't necessarily have to be, I guess, raids on worlds, but they probably do take prisoners and use those to replenish the ranks, I would guess.
So
I need to remind you about the Iron Warriors and the
You do not.
Demon
You do
Kalaba.
not need-
Thank you.
You do not need to remind us about that, Gerald.
So
Good, because I don't want to.
the World Eaters and the Emperor Children also had a similar thing going on. I think we talked about it in the last episode a little bit. They find their ways around things. They do collect their gene seeds still. They use it still to deal with the people they need to. But it's a little bit different than the Imperium at this point. Just a little bit.
I
Well,
would
it's
imagine
actually-
so.
Well, I mean, the next part of the notes is the recruitment.
Oh, hey, so it is.
Until Mark comes back to shut this all down and rip the nails out of her brains, well, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
In the 41st millennium, the World Eaters do not recruit so much as they claim. So, like what we were just talking about.
Cool.
Their warbands swell with renegade Astartes, fallen champions, and Khorn sworn. Wow, that's a tongue twister. Khorn sworn killers drawn to the Legion's reputation for unrelenting slaughter. Bloodline and origin are irrelevant. Only proven ferocity matters. Those who fight beside the World Eaters and do not break are allowed to wear their colors, becoming brothers through shared violence rather than shared gene heritage. Those deemed worthy are bound fully to the Legion through the Butcher's nails, driven into the skull by force or grim acceptance. Many die screaming, others are reduced to useless wrecks. But those who endure are reforged into true berserkers, stripped of doubt, fear, and mercy. Apothecaries are few and methods are crude, yet the Legion persists, harvesting gene seed where possible and sustaining its veterans through sheer endurance, warp-tainted survival, and Khârn's brutal favor. There is no future plan beyond the next war. Initiation is battle. Loyalty is proven by standing in the killing line, and brotherhood is measured in spilled blood. The World Eaters do not build empires or husband resources. They remain loyal only to their own warbands and to the unending demand for combat. They grow not by design, but by survival, each living berserker a testament to savagery, endurance, and the Legion's refusal to fade. This kind of reminds me of I know this is dipping in the Warhammer Fantasy, but it's kind of somewhat relevant in the Total War Warhammer games. For the Warriors of Chaos, like the main way they thrive is if you have to constantly raid foreign provinces that you're in. You're not supposed to settle and maintain like an infrastructure or whatnot. Like, so you have to constantly go off, destroy settlements, raid to actually fuel your army. Because otherwise, if you sit still for too long, the Chaos Gods are not going to take kindly to that. And so they could just, okay, your patronage is done. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I know we've talked before about, what happens when you lose the favor of the different chaos gods and stuff. And I think the Khârn one was, you just turn into this like reckless mass of mutated meat, just, killing until you get put down.
Yeah. Or if you do something like truly dishonorable, you might just get the Hounds of Khârn sent after you.
I really like that there is no future plan beyond the next war. That seems like such a good description of the World Eaters, like in a sentence.
Yeah.
Gotta make do with what you got.
Yeah.
Just like their gene seed in the 41st Millennium. The World Eaters do not recruit so much as claim. Since the shattering of the Legion at Skalathrax, their numbers have been difficult to restore, yet warbands continue to swell as renegade Astartes, fallen champions, and Khârn sworn killers are drawn to their brutal reputation. Gene line and former allegiance are meaningless, only proven savagery earns a place among them. Those who fight beside the World Eaters and endure are accepted as brothers, bound by shared slaughter rather than shared origin, which I mentioned, which is in the Red Angels. She's a Blood Angel successor chapter who was like, I'm getting punished for wanting to kill people. That's stupid. I'm going to go out and find the ones who do this. And he's like, the World Eaters, that's them. And he follows a World Eater champion who ends up dying, and he grabs his butcher's nails and takes them with him. And he's like, I'm going to get these implanted. I'm going to be a World Eater. And then he does.
It's like stealing somebody's wig, man. Like, what the fuck? You can't do that. Those aren't yours.
Hey,
I mean,
if you die on the battlefield, it's all for claim.
It sounds like he picked up those butcher's nails, was like, well, dress for the job you want, I guess.
Yeah. he attached him to his fucking satchel, he put him on his side, and he was like, off to war I go. And then a World Eater apothecary put him in his head, and he killed his serf that he cared for the entire book of the Red Angel.
Hey, I like that it's a very uplifting tale. Like, if you believe hard enough, you can achieve your dreams.
Exactly.
You just got to find you got to have your right found family, and you can do whatever you want to.
And you can sacrifice everything you used to believe in.
Someone took the advice of like just show up to the place you want to work at until they give you a job. A little too literally.
It's so good.
Hey, he got his job.
Right?
He got the
His
job.
his application was written in blood.
He might not have been happy about it in the end, but he got it. Those judged worthy are reforged through violence and crude surgery. Berserker surgeons implant the butcher's nails into willing or captured warriors, creating killers little removed from feral beasts. Captured loyalist space marines are sometimes broken and reshaped through psycho-corrective mutilation, emerging as new world eaters, stripped of former loyalty. Apothecaries are rare, gene seed scavenged where it can be, and survival rates are appalling. But Legion persists through brutality, warp-tainted endurance, and Khârn's favor. As countless Khârnate warbands have been absorbed since the heresy, not all world eaters now share Angron's gene seed. How dare you? They share his butcher nails, and that's all that matters. There is no future beyond next war, and no loyalty beyond the warband. Identity is no longer defined by bloodline or legion roles, but by the nails driven into the skull and devotion proven in combat. Initiation in battle, brotherhood is forged in killing line, and the authority belongs to those who endure longest. The world eaters do not rebuild a legion or claim domination. They survive through savagery alone, loyal to their own and sustained by endless war.
Cool. Yeah, so that's a nice little way to kind of deal with this like recruitment problem we've talked about, where like, okay, if all the world eaters are constantly always killing themselves or honor dueling, or like if they don't care about anything else, how do you have anything that's operational? But this helps a little bit where, yeah, you can just take any gene seed now at this point, and the key thing is, do they got the butcher's nails? That's what's important. That's what's really gonna like settle it in on the world eater berserker vibe.
Yeah, I was thinking that like almost at this point, the butcher's nails is the world eater's gene seed. Like I was like kind of as a joke, but kind of like as how it seems.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems that way for sure. Like that's what they define as their defining thing, and they kind of have ever since Angron came around and brought them around. They're like, okay, well, let's put these in everybody. Thanks for the gift, Dad.
Mm-hmm. So the real world eater gene seed was the butcher's nails all along.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, their combat doctrine. The world eaters now endure a single purpose: to meet the enemy blade to blade and end them in honest bloodshed. To serve this calling, the Legion has cast aside most long-range weapon, favoring the chain axe, sanctified by Khârn, and the bolt pistol carried by those, or carried only to close the distance. War is no longer fought at range, but face-to-face, where strength and resolve are proven. Their hunger for battle has grown to a relentless compulsion, and when the clashes join, the world eaters advance without hesitation, voices raised in war cries to their god. Strategy is not abandoned, but reduced to its purest form: relentless advanced, unbroken momentum, and the annihilation of a foe through overwhelming violence. In combat, these warriors fight without regard for survival, knowing their own blood is no less worthy than those of their enemies. The Legion has become wholly devoted to close combat, shaping every warrior into a weapon meant for killing press and the final strike. Reflecting the erosion of higher command after the heresy, World Eater's warfare is now redefined by direct, merciless assaults, entire formations surging forward to reach the enemy line with maximum speed and impact. Subtlety has been stripped away, leaving only the essential truth of battle. Once engaged, new foes can withstand the fury of the World Eaters, though they field little in the way of ranged fire. This deficiency is answered by unmatched ferocity and masters of melee war. Heavy engines and artillery, gifts granted by Khârn's favor, exist only to break the enemy open for the killing blow. Those who seek even greater closeness to their god submit the rites that invite demonic possession. Warriors claimed by lesser entities of the Blood Guard are reshaped into living weapons bound by the warp, yet anchored in flesh, existing solely to reap blood skulls in internal service. Yeah, so basically just point these guys in the thing that you want dead, and they're gonna go run at it. Oftentimes in 40k, we get this conversation of like, why is there melee in 40k? Like, why do you have guardsmen with chain swords? Like, that seems fucking kind of silly and weird. Like, why does this exist? Why are Eldar using these types of like primitive weapons in their minds when they can shoot fucking star cannons, you know? Right. But ultimately in this galaxy, there are things that want to get to you and kill you up close, whether it's a World Eater Berserker or whether it's a Tyrannid with scything talons. Or orcs are another great example. There are things that just enjoy doing close, or that's just what they're good at. So you have to be able to kind of counter them to some degree.
Yeah,
it's like it's like a soldier in the army. Like they're still taught like close quarters combat because sometimes a gun ain't always going to get it, or you're going to end up in a situation where it's hands on. So
yeah, you round that corner in a small hallway and you're looking now down the face of a bunch of world eaters looking back at you, and you're like, oh my god, okay, close combat. Here we go. They're cool. They're pretty straightforward when it comes to close combat. Not much to it.
Yeah, they have their fun.
Yeah,
their fun. So, what do the world eaters actually believe in? Though the Legion has fractured and its disciplines have eroded, the World Eaters still cling to a core of ancient martial traditions born in the fires of the Great Crusade. Triumph ropes are knotted with trophies taken in battle, while gladiatorial pits remain places of judgment where strength, endurance, and dominance are proven blade to blade. Warriors still wear chains as marks of oaths, penance, or victory, and carve warrior marks into flesh and ceramite to record deeds no remembrancer would dare chronicle. Cadre weapons, tools made solely for killing, are revered, or I guess it would be Kadir weapons? I don't know. Are revered above all others, though the restraint shown once, there's the restraint once shown in Kadir Remissum is now rare and imperfectly observed. The taking of heads endures as a sacred rite, each skull a testament of conquest, while mortis rituals mark those who fight on past all expectation of survival. These customs are no longer enforced with the cold precision of the 30k Legion, but they remain as the last shared language of the World Eaters, a brutal code of honor, memory, and brotherhood carried into every war. Now there is only one truth the World Eaters endure: the spilling of blood. Their existence is reduced to war and the taking of lives in grim service to their god. Whether the blood is drawn from enemy, brother, or their own flesh is irrelevant. What endures is duty, and that the growing mound of skulls raised before Khârn's brass throne is never allowed to diminish.
Fuck yeah. Just keep growing that mountain of skulls, man. Keep it growing.
Right. I do like that. Yeah, like they do have these traditions, but they're, you know, it's just the last traditions that actually work with them of combat, and like some of that even would work really well, Mark, like into your homebrew warband, especially the like knightly chains representing oaths and victory and stuff.
Yeah. Just since you brought them up one more time, let me just put up a piece of artwork I generated for them. Maybe it's going to take a minute, but keep talking and I'll pull it up eventually here.
I'll talk about the armory while Mark is working on that. As peerless masters of close combat, the World Eaters were trained in the use of nearly every form of hand-to-hand weapon. One, however, became inseparable from the Legion's identity: the chain axe. They favored a heavy, broad-bladed pattern descended from the techno-barbarian war gear of Old Terra, and this preference hardened into near reverence once their Primarch was revealed as a peerless wielder of the weapon. Angron refined both the chain axe and its method of use within the Legion, teaching new disciplines of killing and fostering a cult of personal combat centered upon it. Though through the World Eaters, the chain axe earned a grim reputation across the Imperium, its adoption spreading to other Legion its adoption spreading to other legions. One account records that the Chain Axe was the perfect reflection of the World Eaters themselves, a relentless engine of war forged only to destroy. And that's an important thing to kind of bring up, is because the Space Wolves love their axes too. But if you ever notice in 40K, they always use power axes. Because even back during like the Heresy and the Great Crusade, like the Chain Axe was so ingrained with the World Eaters, like with the Angron and the World Eaters, that the Space Wolves just was like, okay, we're staying away from that shit. Now there is only one. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Okay. Among the traditions carried from the gladiator pits of New Syria was the treatment of discarded weapons. A blade lost through failure, carelessness, or chance was considered cursed, unworthy to be reclaimed. As a result, the World Eaters would often abandon fallen arms and armor, even those taken from defeated foes, rather than risk dishonor. One rare exception was Khârn's recovery and restoration of Gorechild, the weapon of his Primarch. And I'm sure Toasty has words regarding Khârn getting...
Nothing negative. It was a... If you follow Khârn's story, he's a very... what's the word? He cares about things. Like, Angron did what claimed to not. There's things from their past that they cared about, and for Angron, he ended up, let's see, he dug his way into a fucking bunch of concrete, and then his psychers got a hold of him and were like, hey, you're going the wrong way. And he dug his way out, and he was using Gorechild and Gorefather. When he got out of it, he was like, these are broken. And then he caught a Titan's foot and held a Titan up so it wouldn't crush Lorgar. So, yeah, just no big deal.
Like you do.
Yeah,
as you do.
For your brother.
As you do.
And then after that whole battle commenced, another Titan showed up and helped fight that Titan while World Eaters were running through that Titan. And Khârn was like, collect that. I want that. And they're like, that's weird. Like, we don't do that. And he was like, get that. So Khârn, being who he was, they offered the respect that he deserved and got it for him. And then he went through the... Look here, buddy. I don't know what you're trying to do to me right now, but I can only get so erect.
Hey, Lord does not care where the blood flows.
People who are not watching this don't understand. But
I know. I think he's falling to Flanesh at this point.
After he got Gorechild, he went into the bowels of the ship, the Conqueror, and found Mecha Dragon, I believe they're called. It's some kind of dragon. He found the teeth of it and knocked him out and took him to the Mechanicum who worked on the strip, the Mechanicus, whatever they were, and gave it to him, was like, put those on there. So he got Gorechild completely reforged. And from there, that was his weapon now.
Okay.
I believe in that photo, Gorefather was the left photo, or the left axe, and Gorechild was the right axe, if I remember correctly. Gorefather is that weird long one.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And there's actually a thing in the notes about Gorefather, Toasty, if you want to cover that.
Yeah. Coming up now.
I have another chain axe I can discuss after Toasty. It'll be really quick.
Widowmaker?
No, Spine Grinder.
Okay.
Yes.
See, I like this. We're all learning. But Gorefather was said to once been born by Angron. This immense chain axe remains one of the Legion's most sacred relics, maintained through ritual oiling and blood rites. Its legacy has sparked wars between rival warbands. In the hands of one strong enough to wield it, Gorefather re-eps entire formations with merciless efficiency. You'll be Gore Mommy if you don't calm down. But
Gore Uncle soon. The whole Gore family's gonna be here soon enough.
Led by Al Gore himself.
Damn it!
Oh, yeah.
Now we're
no.
done. I quit. But Gorefather and Gorechild were both cast aside by Angron after he dug his way out of a bunch of fucking concrete.
Yep. So Spine Grinder is the current chain axe that Demon Angron uses in his 40k 40k model. And here's the little snippet about it. It is also called Perseax's Folly. And this is just straight from the wiki or the lexicon, whichever you prefer. Named for the Trader Forge world of the labored for solar decades to construct it, only to become the axe's first victims when Angron scorned their supplication.
Cool axe, let's give it a whirl.
Widowmaker was his original dual-sided chain axe, two-handed dual-sided chain axe that he broke fighting Lehman Russ.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, is that one? Okay.
Yeah. Man,
That's
they
the
love
cover
naming
for
axes. Very cool.
Axes are fun.
Axes are fun. Multi-purpose. You can cut down a tree or your enemy.
Right? You can, yeah.
I think it was like the most commonly used weapon in the Middle Ages too, because like it was easily accessible.
Yeah, it was a tool too. You're gonna have an axe around, like Mark said, to chop your wood. You can use it to like carve out logs for different things with different kinds of axes. But yeah, it's
yeah, cool. Well, that's all we had for the notes. Man, these were pretty long episodes. There's just so much cool stuff about the World Eaters.
Invited the wrong guy.
Yeah. I think
I got something to say about every one of these notes.
No, that's perfect, man. That's believe it or not, we actually are on this podcast to talk to each other about 40K. So you did great.
I don't believe that at all.
not just look at each other.
No.
Oh, well, that's the only reason I was here.
Well, after that.
Us too.
Yeah. Very cool. Very
Pretty
cool.
bitches.
We do have one more bonus episode of World Eater stuff coming up. I will be doing that next week, probably. I'm going to just finish up my notes for my Warband and get them out there and kind of get this all clumped together. But yeah, honestly, I think Angron and the World Eaters, after going this far into them, they have become my favorite legion. Definitely my favorite trader legion. There's just
best of.
Yeah. I love, you know, the goofiness of some of the names. You know, we got Spine Grinder, Gorefather. We got all these, like, they're so Space Wolfy type names. You know, we got Blood Axe. You know, we got that whole vibe. But I don't think I don't think the Blood God cares, though. You know, I think he likes it.
Mm-mm.
No, Jax, the Night Lords did not even make it into my top fucking 20.
Top 20 trader legions.
The top 20.
But there's only 18 legions. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume that joke
unheard
using
of.
20 was on purpose.
Yeah. Cool, guys. What do you guys? What's your closing thoughts? Let's go around the room. Gerald, closing thoughts.
Again, easiest legion to understand, but there's a lot of layers when you actually peel it back. Not my favorite, still. Sorry, Toasty, but they are fun to learn about.
All right. Fuzz, how's your anger levels and rage issues going? Does this help or hinder?
I think it makes me just a little bit angrier. I think it has to. But I really like them. Not necessarily like as like my favorite legion or anything, but I like them in a narrative sense, like within the world. Like I said earlier, I like it when things kind of have a balance to them. And your comparison to the Space Wolves is like they're kind of the equal opposite of the Space Wolves within the universe. You know, they both have these combat rituals. They both love their axes. They both have special dogs for them. But seeing that you're kind of mirroring on both sides between them, like they have their historical rivalries, you know, through the Great Crusade and everything. And I think having them, be that in the story is really cool. And they just also have some cool art.
Yeah, tons of cool. But yeah, even like that opposite of the Space Wolves, they were originally called the Warhounds. And that name is old. Like that's a 30-year-old name. That's not just something they tacked on recently. Like they've kind of always been that opposite, like extremely loyal and dangerous and will do whatever is told. But like also if you're not their daddy, they're not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
Cool. And Toasty, let's keep your final thoughts to 10 minutes long, but
I got a whole 10 minutes. Well, it's like you said with the Warhounds. Angron at one point even says to Leman Russ that be quiet now. It's time for you to listen to another hound bark. And so he even describes himself as a warhound, which is a wild thing because like he kind of dismissed that from the get-go. Anybody who's heard me talk, I love the World Eaters are my favorite. Khârn taking his time to, maybe seduce one Night Lord is kind of a crazy thing that somebody would think in their head. Uzas is just a psychopath and he fit in. Why not? And, the Nails telling you run trend cycle, that's just, trend cycles are just part of being a man. Do it up, man.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want these muscles like Toasty has? I don't know how he got them, but yeah, you got to.
That's too long of working out and no steroids.
Okay. Okay. Wow. I'm just gonna go the steroids route. I think.
That's usually for like gym goers. It's anybody who is weaker than you just needs to work harder, and anybody stronger than you is just running a cycle.
Yeah, isn't that the way of it, eh? Very fun. Well, great episode. Let's do some end of the show notes. If you want to hear some homebrew lore, you can email it in. Like I said, I'm working on my own. Fucking 40K is perfect for homebrew lore. So come check out Lorehammer Listener Lore podcast, and you can submit your lore there, and we'll eventually read it out.
And if you want to hear me and Toasty go at it, for various reasons that are not just Khârn related, come on over to Grimlore. We talk about mostly Warhammer Fantasy, Age of Sigmar. Toasty's our resident Khârn expert in that setting as well. So he's like one of our most frequent guests too. So you get plenty of chances to hear us go at it over there as well.
Very cool. And I guess, Fuzz, you don't really shout anything out, but if you want to give us your home address so we can make a personal appearance every now and again, now's the time.
Yeah. Well, I have been starting to post more blacksmith stuff. I think it was like last time after like you or someone on the show I think was bullying me into saying I need to make an Instagram. So I've got like an Instagram, and Facebook is where I post most of like the pictures. It's been a hot minute, especially because it's been really cold here for me posting any videos on YouTube. But if you search up Stout Hammer Forge on any of those things, you'll start to find my stuff.
Cool. Stout Hammer Forge. Yeah, very cool, man. Like, what a cool skill to have, just banging hot metal. Fuck
it's
yeah.
Fun.
That's fucking hot.
All right. Well, the final thing is Patreon. I don't often say thank you at the end of the episodes anymore. We used to always read off the names of members and all that, but I don't know, just kind of faded away. But just know that we are very thankful for the support. The Patreon dollars help keep the show going, and ads do as well. But that's gay as shit. So just go join the Patreon. So cool. Oh yeah, everyone's taking out their call.
Thank you.
I love it.
I appreciate it.
Give you that follow.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you guys all on the next episode of Lorehammer. I think we're going into the Astartes Armory episodes once we kind of get back to the main stuff. And we'll carry on from there. See you guys all on the next one.
Bye.
Night. Love you.